Hello and welcome to 360 Gamercast, episode 742 for Tuesday, the 29th of July, 2025. I'm your host, Mark Webb, Gamertag, Pearson ID, Steam ID, Webby 360G, and joining me today is...
Back again, brother. That's right. That's Nick Fights.
Banana. It's Sensei Switch.
And that is it. Graham was meant to be on tonight, but he's been waylaid. Personal reasons. I won't say here. He will tell us all when he's on next if he wants to. It's been a interesting week, I'd say. We've had new game trailers. We've had people dying. We've had games played. So, and new game releases as well. So,
we've had the internet cancelled.
Well, this is the thing. So, I mean, there's a lot to discuss, isn't there? So, obviously, someone who works from home online all day or work in the IT industry, and is kind of a free speech advocate myself, I'm a little bit disappointed with the UK government of what they've done this week with this whole online safety bill. And what people seem to forget is it wasn't the Labour government who put this in. It was actually the Conservative.
I think.
Yeah, so I've seen a lot of stuff online where people are blaming the Labour government, even though I'm not a fan. They shouldn't get all the blame because it was the Conservatives that actually enacted it before Labour came into power. So basically, the gist is, if you've been on to Nick's Discord, because he's...
Anything, Twitter.
Yeah, well, it depends where you look. Well, yes.
My Twitter's fine. I haven't had to use it on anything yet.
Well, it depends what you're looking at.
There was a website I looked at. One of the websites I look at for artist stuff obviously has a few NSFW stuff on there, and they now have a thing on there saying we are not running your website in your country anymore because we're not going to comply with these guidelines.
Yeah.
So they're just blocking the UK completely from it. It's like, yeah, brilliant. Cheers.
But what it's doing is it was basically what it's doing is it's mainly, well, what they've said it is, which is completely bullshit, is it's to stop under 18s from being able to access porn sites, etc. I kind of agree with that because under 18s shouldn't be accessing that type of material anyway. So that's part of me. It's like, well, yeah, I kind of get it, but whatever happened to parental responsibility?
Well, that's existed pretty much since the internet has existed. You know, you can phone your, broadband provider or just go on the website and block all that out with a click of a button.
Yeah,
that's always been there. But I'm not complaining that I can't look at porn. That's because I don't look at that anymore. But like I said, when I looked at some of my websites like Twitter, half of my, recent bookmarks and most of the bookmarks I've saved, it wasn't porn. Like I said, it was recently a few like Hulk Hogan videos. So is wrestling over 18? And it was just, I haven't got a problem with that, but it's just censorship in general. We never really liked it on this podcast, have we?
No, well, so basically what it's asking you to do, and it's the same on Reddit, because I use Reddit quite a lot, and so I've been reading some discussions and people have been saying on Reddit that you have to do it on there for their NSFW Reddit, what do you call them, pages or groups or whatever?
There was someone who could go on
subreddits.
Reddit, I think it was, like for the stuff, and they needed to sign in.
Yeah. Now, so what it will do is it takes you to a third-party provider, and you either have to take a photo, like send them a photo of your face, and they aid you using software, or you have to give them some pictures of your ID, like your passport or your driving license. And people have rightfully said, well, you're supplying all this information, it's just ripe for the picking of being hacked.
Yeah, data breach.
Yeah, because you know what the UK government's like with their data breaches. I mean, they just had a big one recently, haven't they? So you can't always trust these things. Now, obviously, there is easy way around this. You just sign up. Just sign up to a VPN provider. I've been using Surfshark for about 5 or 6 years anyway, because the UK has been blocking multiple websites for many years anyway that I like to peruse. Pirate Bay and a few others. So
proxy sites.
Yeah,
wink,
but they,
wink.
Yeah, nudge, nudge, wink, wink. Right. So obviously anyone with half a brain will be able to circumvent this anyway. But people have been saying, I've just seen that Angelos has said that his Twitter's fine. It's what they do. They're sneaky. Is so obviously this last few days has been a lot of protests in the UK. Regarding there's been protests about the hotels, the immigrant hotels, and basically on social media sites like X/Twitter, they've been using this new law, safety bill law thing to stop those tweets being shown to people in the UK. So the way to circumvent that is to use a VPN, but also change your home country on your Twitter profile to somewhere outside of the EU, like the USA or something like that. And I have seen plenty of examples of this online because I spent quite a bit of time researching it the last couple of days just because I find it quite interesting how they're trying to kind of implement all this. So you might not think it's affected you, but it is. You will not be seeing certain things on your feeds on like Instagram, Twitter, and stuff like that. So it's just something to be aware of, which Darren finds hilarious, apparently.
Sorry, I'll just I'll switch over to the football quickly.
Oh, okay. So but one thing, like, and I know this isn't really a gaming discussion, but part of my thought process bringing this into gaming discussion is these laws that they've implemented. I'm just pondering how that could affect games in the future, restrictions to certain maybe online things in games. So as an example, this isn't a UK thing, but I'm just thinking of an example that I've seen this week is I've been playing a lot of Test Drive Unlimited Solar Crown. They introduced the casino that they had in Test Drive Unlimited 2. And they did the same thing actually in Grand Theft Auto 5, which I've been reading, is depending on the country, the casino isn't available in over 60 countries because of that country's laws. And one of those is Australia, funnily enough, as well, even though there's loads of gambling in Australia, which I find really weird. So obviously countries' laws do affect games in some ways. And with Test Drive Unlimited Solar Crown, that means the car that you can win in the casino, people in 60 plus countries can't actually get that car as well. So that's kind of, similar in a way. Will they be? And another thing is on Steam. We talked about this last week. There's been a very high proliferation of porn games in the Steam catalog the last few years. Obviously, is this new online safety bill going to affect that? I don't know. So there's all these different things that you might think to yourself, wow, it won't affect me, I won't worry about it, but it might actually affect you going forward. And you might think to yourself, yeah, well, I'm over 18, it doesn't matter, I'll give these companies my ID, my face scan or whatever. But what it's actually doing, it's infringing on your freedom, right? Us oldies, we're all 40 plus now, eh, Nick?
Hey, only by a week, sure.
Yeah. But we've all grown up since we grew up kind of before the internet, and then we grew up as in was a thing, right? And so we'll remember a time when the internet was just a free for all, right? And over the years, the decades have gone by, and we've slowly seen the erosion of the freedoms of the internet as it's become more and more popular. And I kind of sat yesterday just thinking about, man, I miss the good old days of the internet where I could go on MSN Messenger, go onto Yahoo Pool or the chat rooms. It was just a kind of a new thing, and it was great. And now you look at the internet and you're like the UK in particular, we're becoming like China, where everything's just getting fucking just banned or filtered out, and then we're having to use VPNs to circumvent all this stuff that's being blocked. Now, as I said at the beginning, I don't think it's all a bad thing because, I don't think underage people should be getting access to certain websites, apps, etc. However, I think it's shit because it's like, well, if you're a decent parent, you wouldn't be allowing your kids to be on these things in the first place. You wouldn't let your 10-year-old have a smartphone, have a social media profile, access to everything. There's so many things that you can do, even if you were an irresponsible parent and gave your 10-year-old a smartphone. I'm sorry if any listeners have, but these are my opinions. There are ways to block a lot of stuff anyway quite easily. So I just don't understand that. I kind of like, as a parent, I'm just thinking, well, you're taking a lot of my responsibility away. And you're affecting everybody.
Just a question, though. Are you going to rely on this, the government stuff that they've done, just to assume that now everything they use isn't going to have none of this nonsense? Or are you still going to do it yourself?
Well, I'll do it myself now anyway, right?
Yeah. I mean, I saw a video where they were talking about, I can't remember what, I want to say that was Sky, but I'm not sure, where there was like an app and like the woman was using it, and on the app that had all the devices that were connected to her internet, and she could turn them on and off with a toggle and have an 18 filter all through her phone. And she did a thing where a kid, he was like, oh, it's just one more game. She's like, nope, you've got to do your homework. And she turned it off on her phone, so he couldn't be on the device. So this stuff,
easy. It's easy now.
It's just they've spent so much money doing whatever this thing to something that was already a problem that didn't exist. That's already been solved.
Well, yeah, and the thing is, right, is all the
pushing us towards digital ID. That's the main end game, I think.
But it's ridiculous because everybody with a half a brain knows about VPNs now, and if they don't know, I have a mate that can tell them about it. And they're so cheap now. Anyway, or there's even free to use ones, even though I wouldn't recommend it because if it's free, you are the customer, right? You are, giving away your information. And it's just easy because, like, as an example, like Nick's Discord, I went on there on my PC and it was like, oh, you need to provide some ID to visit this channel. And I was like, nope, VPN on, and I was straight in, So
have you seen that
recommend.
People have been using photo mode in certain games to get around the issue?
Death Stranding 2 is one of the ones I've seen.
Like Norman Reedus' face and stuff.
Yeah, it's bloody hilarious, man. But, as someone who believes in freedom of speech, etc., I hate to see our freedoms being eroded this way. Because I can see the real reason why they're doing it. Because, this isn't going to stop anything, right? And if the government really wanted to do something, they would bring down... They would just block the sites entirely, and stop the access of illegal sites, which are still freely available that you can get onto. They could get ISPs to block them if they really wanted to, but they don't. I just think this is someone's along the way has made a lot of money out of this, and it's not going to solve any issues at all.
Well, yeah,
it will solve a couple of issues for people that obviously don't look into it too much, but for most people, they're going to find workarounds. And it's like the internet; you're not going to stop stuff. You stamp one out, two more pop up in its place.
Yeah.
Also, did you notice, like, Webby, like, if you wanted to with on Twitter, like you said, I just changed my region to USA, and it's fine. But if I didn't want to do that, because that's probably against the terms and conditions, lying where I am, if I wanted to age verify myself officially in the UK, I have to have premium and pay. So you can't do it for free on Twitter.
Mm-hmm.
And also, I'm not, that doesn't, but like I said, I spoke to my mate at work the other day and he was saying about this, and I just said to him, everyone's probably watched a bit of porn at some point in their life, be it, adults,
Mm-hmm.
And I asked him, and this is true, I've never made any type of account. I'm not putting my details in any of those websites, definitely not card details. Do you know what I mean? So a lot of these companies that do have stuff over here, the only way you can watch it is if you sign up for an account. Well, no, if nobody does that, we said that's got to be what 80% of people, if not higher, that never actually signs up to these accounts.
Mm-hmm.
So most of these companies, they're paying all this money for these server space to have these websites over here. They're just going to pull out, aren't they? And I'm not, I don't always agree with it, but people who do that sort of thing and they're selling that sort of content in this country, they're not going to be. They're going to not have a job, are they?
Mm.
People who work in that type of thing.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Sucks, mate. Anyway, shall we get into some cool gaming stuff anyway?
Yep.
Oh, before that, we'll get into some news. Obviously, a lot of people that listen to the podcast are big wrestling fans, of course. We had the sad news this week that Hulk Hogan has passed away. Quite young as well, 71.
He should have died several times over the years, to be honest. How many operations he's had on his back, and how hard he's pushed,
But what surprised me, right, is Ozzy Osbourne died this past week as well at 78. So he outlived Hogan, and Ozzy was a massive druggie. Yeah. It was Hulk Hogan, was pumping iron.
Most of his mate. Keith Richards is still going.
Crazy, isn't it?
Yeah, but what killed it? Thing is, I told you about it. I knew about it, but none of the mainstream was actually reporting on it. He basically had an operation about a month ago, and then complications, infections, which couldn't fight, and then it went to his heart. And then his heart just couldn't take the operation needed to do it. So that's very similar to, pretty much identical to Scott Hall, who died a few years ago, like operation, infection, and stuff like that.
Oh, right, yeah. Razor Ramon, in case people will wonder.
Yes, yeah. So basically 2 out of 3 NWO members are no longer with us. Which is, that's sad, but it's also just sad the amount of people that just got really pissy about it and argue, and I was like, I hope he's in hell, and I'm just like, dude, you don't know who he is. You don't know who this guy is. And I've watched, the stuff that came out, and like I said, it depends where you draw the line. I personally don't think he's racist for what was released and what was said.
Mm-hmm.
But there's some people out there that do. Fair play. If that's why they draw the line, great. I draw over, I know some people, I know someone that doesn't like Leonardo DiCaprio because he said the Ed word in Django.
And
he said,
he's an actor.
I know, but some people are like that. The same, because Stone Cold Steve Austin said it in The Longest Yard with Adam Sandler, and a lot of companies won't touch him, and like his movie roles dried up after he said that, just because he said it in a movie. But that's where some people draw the line, fair enough. But, I just think, he gave so much of himself to the world. He's got to be one of the most known people on the planet.
He basically he was the face of WWF.
Well, yeah, he took it literally from Carney stuff to worldwide, didn't he?
Obviously, there was a huge, amazing roster of wrestlers back in the 80s that helped pave the way. But out of most of the stars, everyone knew Hogan. You know what I mean?
Yeah. But yeah, and like you said though, Webby, 70, but especially when you think of the size of the guy and how he kept in shape as well, you'd have thought he wouldn't have, gone with something like that. But yeah, very sad. Him, Ozzy, only because did you need to watch the show he did a couple of weeks ago as well? Yeah, Ozzy with the Black Stabbers thing. That was pretty good.
I watched the highlights of his final tour or whatever it was in Birmingham or whatever.
Yeah.
Nice. Yeah, but it's just sad, man. Everyone's just dying around us, aren't they?
Yeah.
Good news though. Just want to talk about this quickly. I'm hyped for a game, and I know I shouldn't be. A new trailer for Battlefield 6 released this week. Oh mate, I think I watched this trailer about 4 times. There's something that I will say about EA and DICE. They do know how to make a good trailer to get you hyped up. Even if the game that comes out afterwards launches like a piece of shit, the trailer still manages to get you hyped every time. You know?
Yeah.
You know, after the launch of 2042, which launched like a bag of shit, and I have said on multiple occasions, it's great now. People have said, "Oh, you know, the next Battlefield, don't get it at launch because it'll be shit." I've watched this trailer and I'm like, I'm getting it day one, baby.
And you'll be moaning about it again. Yeah. Fucking servers.
Oh, mate. I tell you, it just... The trailer just looks so good. All the destruction of all the buildings. It looks like it's going kind of back to old school Battlefields again. I've watched a couple of leaked videos of closed alpha, and it looks very much like an old school Battlefield game with the destruction, which is cool, and the game modes like Conquest and stuff like that, which is good. Yeah, I'm hyped for it. Apparently there's going to be an open beta next week. That's what's rumoured, what I've seen online. So
that's the best thing for them to do, is to do an open beta, get everyone to fucking hammer the servers.
Yeah.
So they're more prepared for launch.
Yeah, I am.
They just need to spend some money and not be stupid. And because I mean, like a lot of people said, I think you said it as well, Webby. Call of Duty's gone quite Fortnite-y the last couple of years.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
You know, and stuff like that. So I think a lot of people have dropped off, and also the fact it's on Game Pass. So I don't think Call of Duty's as big, you know, as it was. It's still pretty big, but a lot of people that were on Call of Duty just are not bothering anymore and looking at other things. The few podcasts I listen to, like with the Americans, they're all gone off it and sick of it. So all Battlefield have got to do is just have a decent game that feels great. You know, don't take the piss. Just have it like 40 quid, 50 quid, whatever it costs. And just say, there's none of this online battle pass stuff. There's none of this crap. It's just, here it is. And this is what we're doing. You know, 20 quid for a map pack for the entire year. You'll get like 10 maps when you buy the game, and we're going to release another 10 over the course of 12 months. And people will be like, yeah, this is old school COD. We're back to what we liked. And people will lap it up, won't they?
Well, this is the thing, right, is obviously Call of Duty is still super popular. You can't lie about that. It's huge, right? But the problem with it is, for us old school FPS gamers, I fucking detest all these stupid skins in COD. Like, I went back onto COD a couple of weeks ago because I still like to jump on with Colin and Peeves and have a laugh and stuff and shoot shit. But it's just the amount of silly skins now. Just added Beavis and fucking Butthead. Is it, you know? And you go back to like COD 4 on the Xbox 360, and it's never been a realistic game. It's been an arcadey first-person shooter, but it was all army guys and you're shooting shit. None of this, and it's just gone. It is just Fortnite in another skin now. That's all it is, and it's just not. It's just too much away from what it was back in the day originally. Whereas with Battlefield, if they get it right with the classes, they don't have any silly characters in it. You know they're going to have a season pass, mate. Every game's going to have a season pass. But if they get like that main thing right with character classes, no silly skins, it's all like army. You look like a proper army dude. It looks like it's got a campaign again, which is something that was massively missing from 2042. If they do this right, you know, they could be onto a winner here. But it needs to launch right. It can't be broken, because this is a problem with 2042. It's been tarred with that brush because, as I say, it's a great game now. It's a lot of fun. They've remade loads of the old maps from 3 and 4. They've got Battlefield 3 and 4 game modes in there, which I was playing this week and has so much fun. And they actually reintroduced the old class system and all that in these modes, but hardly any fuckers playing it because it launched like shit and no one wants to go back and give it another shot. So, you know, they really need to be careful, EA and DICE, with this, because it could be the best thing ever or a load of shite. And I'm hoping it's great. I really am. I am rooting for this.
Every time a Battlefield has come out and done the old, here we go, finally COD's got some competition this year. I've always been rooting for them because I think it is good to have a bit of competition rather than just have like one game run away with the entire thing.
Yeah.
Sort of a thing. And yeah, they haven't had the greatest track record because whenever they've had an opening, they failed to take the shot.
100%.
They're about as good
100%.
as female penalties at a fucking football game.
Yeah. Yeah. Did the women? I'll take it the women won the game though, didn't they?
Yeah, I think they got through on penalties, or they won on penalties. Yeah, they should have been knocked out a couple of games ago. But again, it was like I've seen fucking 5-year-old fucking games with better penalty kicks than that fucking game against Sweden or whatever it was. Like Jesus.
Well,
a couple of good saves in there. I'm not going to take it away, but. They seem to. I've seen more shots missed and saved than actually scored when it comes to the penalty kicks.
I mean, I'm on a football podcast. I think we didn't say too much about it really, but I just think if they spent more time practicing and growing women's football and getting better at it, and trying to get better sponsorships and that, than complaining they're not getting played the same as men, it'd be a lot better thing to watch.
I'm not going to even comment, mate. I'm already getting shit on Twitter for my meme.
Yeah, but that's what you wanted.
Yeah, it's just fun. People don't have sense of humour. But anyway, back to Battlefield. So these are the rumours, right? Off the top of my head, it's got a single player campaign, which is really needed to sell more units. It's got a lot of the old game modes and the multiplayer. There's going to be new ones. There's going to be a multiplayer reveal on the 31st of the month, and rumours that there's going to be a weeks-long open beta announced on that date. A short while after the game is released, they're going to be launching a free-to-play Battle Royale mode as well. So it'll be interesting to see how that fares in this day and age where everything's a fucking Battle Royale. So yeah, it'd be interesting to see all that. But obviously, the thing that's got me excited for it is they're bringing back all that old destruction, right, of the buildings. From watching the gameplay, if you play as a team properly, you can actually, when you're healing people in the old Battlefield games, I know Clarkey loves to do this. You can actually run up to one of your teammates who's on the floor and drag them out of fire and then heal them. So you're not just out in the middle of nowhere getting shot to shit whilst you're healing.
That's cool, yeah, like real medics.
Yeah.
Would.
Yeah, so, they've added a bit more realism to it as well. So, as I say, it's I'm excited for this. I think it's got all the elements that make it look very promising to me.
Are you going to buy it, or are you going to get it and try the 10-hour EA access thingy?
Well, obviously, with Game Pass, we get the 10-hour trial anyway, right? So be silly not to use it and then make a decision on a purchase from that. But, and that's actually quite a positive for EA, because that 10-hour trial for F1 25 for me this year, I used that and then I bought the game off the back of it, even though I know it's going to come to Game Pass next year. Right, because for me it was like a 10-hour demo, and I was like, I really like this. I want to buy it and play it some more. So it does work. So, I'm quite a big fan of that methodology, to be honest. So, yeah, there's nothing else really to say on it. We're going to wait till the end of the month, the 31st, to see what this multiplayer reveal is. If there's an open beta, great. And then I don't think the rumoured release date, I believe, is around October time, so we're not far out either from hopefully a release of the full game. So that's super awesome. So yeah, all good. All good indeed. Just a couple of other things I want to talk about before we talk about games we've played. Do you want to talk about some Xbox 360 stuff now? I'm just trying to mix things up today.
Yeah, fair enough.
Yeah? Yeah? All right, sweet. So, obviously, last week we mentioned about this going back and doing... It's going to be a once-a-month thing, just going back to the month of a previous year from the of a launch of the Xbox 360 game. So, obviously, the 360 launched in 2005. So, we're looking at games from July 2006. But before that, I think because this is the first one that we're doing, as I said at the beginning of the show, go back and just discuss a couple of memories from the launch of the Xbox 360. I feel like I've been talking a lot, so I don't know if Nick or Darren, you want to chime in first, or if you're not comfortable, I'm happy to, because I've been thinking about this anyway.
Comfortable. Well, you might as well mention the games that obviously came out that you had down that came out this month in 2006, whatever it was.
Yeah, so I'll do that first. So there wasn't a lot of games that came out, but we had Lord of the Rings: Battle for Middle-earth 2.
See, that was, I think, the only one I owned out of these.
Oh, okay. I don't remember playing it, to be honest.
It was an RTS. I think it's the RTS.
Yeah.
Because obviously this is going back in there. Companies used to generally avoid the summer release schedule for a lot of their games because even though the kids are all off school and flapping about and gnawing at their parents' ankles and stuff, driving them up the wall, etc., they apparently don't want a game, which is stupid.
Yeah.
Didn't actually ever make sense. So generally all the big games would avoid that middle of the year kind of summery sort of time for some reason, and which is why you generally had pretty poor releases and not really major sort of stuff going on.
Yeah. Well,
I remember playing Lord of the Rings, Battle for Middle-earth 2 a couple of times online, like with my friend that I work with, and another guy called Hobbit Toewigs, that I used to play with on 360. The only downside to the game is it was one of those ones where it's like you can build your armies up, but you've got a limit.
Oh, how annoying.
So you can't literally be like, yeah, I'm going to get loads of oliphants and like crush the enemy with like my massive army. And it's like, no, you can only have 2 of them in your army and a couple of other units. Because it would like stop you having too much.
Yeah.
Like you only had a certain amount of space to take up with all your different units, which was a bit of a bummer. Because I was like, well, that takes away the whole sort of like, look at my monstrous army kind of thing.
Yeah.
It was quite a fun game. It had a campaign alongside the sort of like multiplayer aspect to it as well.
I think it still holds up quite well as well, just watching a few videos.
Yeah, well, it's kind of weird because one of the games I'll talk about later on, it's I wouldn't say it's an old game, but it's a reasonably old game, and I don't really think games have evolved much since then, to be honest.
Interesting, yeah. I don't know why I never played this. I never really... I mean, I like an RTS, but I definitely never played this. 100%. I would have remembered it.
Because obviously this is coming off the back of what I will probably say is the greatest film trilogy of all time.
Yes.
A film that was so beautifully made and how it was made and came about, it's just like you'll never see anything of that ever again in like cinema.
No.
All filmed back to back, etc. And I know people have said it before, but if you own the Blu-ray, I think it is the Blu-ray collector's edition of the extended trilogy, you have like 18 or something hours of like extras and shit with it.
Yeah, all the fantasy stuff, that's awesome. Yeah, that's like a whole other thing.
Yeah, I don't even think many films nowadays come with like making ofs and stuff, especially not as extensive as those. Like you had like complete discs on like the makeup and sound design and creating the costumes and all that kind of stuff.
I mean,
the
not being
behind the
funny,
scenes cast
movies
interviews.
released over the last like 10 or 15 years, would anybody care enough to want to watch something like that?
Well, they've all got Pedro Pascal in, haven't they?
What's happened with him this week?
I suppose it's like a yes or no thing.
What's he been doing? He's been fingering up his women co-stars or something? What's going on with him?
Oh, he's been upsetting their husbands as well, isn't he?
I don't know.
Yeah.
He's been like hugging them on the red carpet or something, and they've said all of a sudden he's interfering with them. I'm like, what?
He's a wrong one. Anyway, sorry, Darren, we interrupted you.
Yeah,
no, that's fine. But yeah, obviously the game came off the back of the films and the huge popularity, etc. So I think it did reasonably well, but they haven't released any more since then. I think the second game was like the last one they made. More people seem to remember the actual games based on the films, which I think were released by EA. Because I'm pretty sure I've got the Two Towers on the GameCube. Or was it Return of the King on the GameCube? I can't remember.
I think they were all on the GameCube and original Xbox.
But yeah.
Cool.
Not bad. What other ones were in that mix? Random mix?
Yeah, a game that actually has stuck with me all these years that I absolutely loved, and I'm sad that they never made a sequel to this. And then another game series with the same name came out and completely stole it. Prey. Do you remember the original Prey?
No, that was a launch title, wasn't it?
No, it came out 2006. No, it came out 2006. Wikipedia is not lying to me. It came out
August 2006.
It came out July.
July, sorry.
Yeah, July the 11th, 2006.
I must admit, I did get this when it came out as well. So this is another game I owned, and I think if I recall, did I get the 1,000 gamer score off this? If not, I came pretty close. Because I remember cheesing some of the multiplayer with someone, because there was multiplayer trophies, wasn't there, or achievements back in the day. But yeah, I really enjoyed this, and it kind of looked like that we were going to get some interesting sequels out of it, and it never went anywhere.
No, sad really. Because it's kind of, obviously it was a first-person shooter, but it had a really cool story where you're a Cherokee Indian.
Yeah, Native Americans. It was all about the Native Americans and like the spirit animals and all that kind of stuff, and like it was cool.
Yeah, had a really cool story. You get abducted by aliens and taken to a massive spaceship, but then you use your powers and you can like walk upside down, and had all these weird puzzle rooms from what I remember, like walking on the walls and stuff like that. And it was just a really cool first person shooter with an interesting story. And I just really enjoyed it, man. I thought it was really, really cool.
I'm looking at the case now. I've got it, but I've never played it.
Because this was the weird thing, wasn't it? They did the first one, where you're basically abducted and you're taken up in the spaceship and you're basically fighting for your freedom on the actual alien ship.
Mm-hmm.
And then they revealed the trailer for the pretty infamously cancelled sequel.
Oh,
where you played a bounty hunter in like space. It was really weird. It was completely out of the. You can probably look up some details for it, but yeah, it was shown off, and a load of people were like, "Oh, this is really different from the first one. It looks almost like sort of like something you'd expect from Star Wars, not Prey." Because you were playing like this intergalactic bounty hunter going around sort of hunting people down.
Yeah, I've just found something.
And then it got cancelled.
You put one of Gemma's videos up.
I've no idea who that is, but...
Oh, I know her. I met her a few times.
Prey 2 all gameplay footage cancelled game.
They also did a remaster a few years later, didn't they?
Did they?
Yeah,
No.
they did a. I'm sure they did a remaster.
Because what I don't understand, right, is Prey was made by 2K Games. You can see here on the Wikipedia if you're watching live on
Was
Twitch.
it made by them or published by them?
Let's have a look. So, developers was Human Head Studios, published by 2K Games.
Oh.
But then we had these other Prey games come out, which are completely different. I just don't understand what happened there.
Oh, it was a reboot. Sorry, not a remaster.
Oh, right, fair enough.
Yeah, because you had this new Prey, which had nothing to do with the old one, made by Arcane Studios. So they must have bought the name or something.
Oh, hold on a minute. Is that the one that came out
on the Xbox One?
PS4?
Yeah, the PS4 and Xbox One. Now the new Prey, didn't you? And you're on this, you're in space. I remember Colin
with
really
the weird shifting organisms,
yeah,
and that could change, turn itself into a coffee cup and stuff, and then scuttle about.
Yeah,
weird. Yeah, it rings a bell now. Yeah,
I don't.
Maybe they got hold of the license and just thought, "I will do our own kind of Bioshock in space kind of thing with it."
Yeah,
which again, it wasn't a bad game. It was a good sort of solid 8 out of 10. I think that one.
Yeah, it's just one of those games that, because there was a few games on the 360 which they only had one of, and then I was just like, oh, okay.
Yeah, good ones as well.
Yeah. So
or a few that should have only had one game, like Condemned.
Oh yeah, Condemned was amazing. But like this is one of those for me. Prey was one of those standout Xbox 360 titles for me, just because it was, as I say, very interesting, really good, solid first-person shooter gameplay. But then you had all those weird mechanics, you say, of walking upside down and getting a bit like, whoa, what the fuck? And then your powers, where you had like the bird that you could throw, and I'm just watching a video now, and you had like a bow and arrow, and you can see into this weird kind of.
To go into the spirit realm, didn't you?
Yeah, that's it. Yeah,
spirit walks and stuff.
Yeah, man. So yeah, it was
pretty tastefully done.
Yeah,
they'd have loved all of that nowadays, wouldn't they?
Yeah. 100%.
They'd have been championing it, whereas back then it was the norm and people liked it.
Yeah, so I just want to just on some of the synopsis that I've just pulled up on Google AI, the themes. The game explores themes of sacrifice, responsibility, and the importance of heritage, rarely touched upon in similar games. Yeah. Yeah, it's really interesting. I remember there being like quite a serious story with the main character you playing as girlfriend as well, but
because
quite vague on memory of that.
If I recall, aren't all the people that are being sucked up into the spaceships basically being turned into like food or something? They're literally it's like goes into like quite horrific sort of subject matter.
Yeah, it does. Yeah, yeah. It was it was kind of like. For me, like Half-Life was the first game to really pump a story into a first-person shooter, and this was just for me kind of a continuation of that thing, of them doing a good job with stories and FPSs, So, yeah, real big standout game for me in July 2006. I can't believe it's been 19 years.
I was slagging it off the list. And I have 2 of them already.
Well, there you go. Next on the list, I believe I played this, but I'm going to have to just bring a video up just to remind myself of this. Chrome Hounds.
I never did. I know this. It's a mech game, isn't it? It's either is it an RTS or a tactical game?
Yeah.
Or it might even be like a ganky sort of FPS.
Oh, it is a like a mech warrior type game. Yeah. I never played this, actually, looking at it. It looks very slow and methodical. Probably, I think...
Who's the publisher?
Just give me 2 seconds.
I'm thinking it was a Japanese publisher, maybe.
Chrome Hounds. It was made by From Software.
Wow.
Published by Sega. Yeah. Yeah. Actually, I'm watching the video now. It actually looks quite cool. Third person, you're controlling a mech. And you bring up, and the map they brought up, it does remind me very much of Mech Warrior.
Well, they made Armored Core, didn't they, as well? So maybe this was a kind of a spin-off. Because obviously, From Software have been actually going for a while. They did some pretty good games on the original Xbox, like Otogi 1 and 2.
Okay.
As well. And I remember... Stunty on here once before basically telling us about it was pretty much like FromSoft making a Demon's Souls sort of prequel.
Okay.
It was on the PS2, where it was basically like the first sort of blueprint for the sort of Souls-like formula.
Okay. Well, what's quite interesting here, Darren, is it says the game is set in an alternate universe where mecha known as Hounds battle for control of Neromius, a fictional region near the Black Sea. Chrome House features a system for personalised customization of the player's mecha and an online campaign mode where players wage war in a persistent world over Xbox Live. The game's online service was shut down in January 2010. That's a shame. There's some good ideas there. Persistent world, etc. Yeah, pretty cool. But no, I never played it, unfortunately. And
okay, that's another reasonable game, actually, to be honest, for August.
And the last one is Cloning Clyde.
I never played this one.
I do remember this. I think it might have been like an Xbox Live Arcade type. Yes, it was.
All right.
Yeah, an Xbox Live Arcade game. I don't know if you could purchase it on disc or not, but I do remember this on Xbox Live Arcade. You play as a dude called Clyde, and it's like a side-scrolling game, and I think you clone yourself, funnily enough. But I don't... it's been so long since I've played this. Yes, so side-scrolling platform game developed by Ninja B and released on 19th of July 2006 on Xbox Live Arcade. Yeah, it was Xbox Live Arcade. It's also backwards compatible on the Series X, which is quite interesting.
So it's still going.
Yeah, each level begins with a player in control of a single Clyde. As they progress, more Clydes can be found inside crates and created using cloning machines. Then you can switch between any of the characters using the controller. Then there's obviously puzzles involved with with controlling all the clones. I definitely played this. Definitely remember playing this. Yeah, obviously those were the very early days of Xbox Live Arcade in 2006. But yeah, those were all the games that I could find that were released July 2006 on the Xbox 360.
Like I say, like most publishers seem to avoid that sort of summer period.
Yeah, that's right, yeah.
Until a certain game told them it was a viable option.
Yeah.
But I think that was an August release. Batman Arkham Asylum, wasn't it? That was a famous one of the first big blockbuster games, and it launched in the summer.
Right, okay. Also, I've just seen in 2006, Microsoft released the Xbox 360 HD DVD player. The accessory was discontinued in 2008 after the format war
2 years
in Blu-ray's favour. Yeah.
Surprised it lasted that long.
Wow.
I remember I used to see HD DVDs like rotting in like Game Station and stuff.
Yeah. So you can still buy them on eBay.
You actually hear it was actually the better format, but I don't.
Pong chose Blu-ray.
Pretty much. So
yeah, that's exactly what happened. Pong chose Blu-ray, and that was the way it went.
Yeah. Shame. Yeah. So that's all I could find for that month. It's actually quite hard, like, to really scour the internet for games that released back then, like in certain months. So I've had to. I might have missed some stuff, and if I have, I apologise. But that's what
I imagine there was more than that out, but yeah, as far as like big published sort of games,
yeah.
Xbox Live Arcade always sort of delivered quite a spattering of content during the summer months.
Yeah. I'm just.
But as far as the launch of the system goes, I never got my 360 on launch.
No, you didn't, did you?
No, I picked it up in March when Dead or Alive 4 came out.
Got out the following Christmas, after Gears of War came out.
Which was nice, because I got it with, I think, Dead or Alive 4 Condemned, and obviously Call of Duty 2, which was the big game that sort of, like, got me to buy the system, and to be honest.
Yeah, I got it with that as well.
I remember...
Look at the smoke grenade effects, they're so good.
I mean, I remember the 360 launch very well, because I remember I've told the story so many times. I'll just tell it quickly. I pre-ordered my 360 on play.com. Remember that website?
Yep.
And then literally a couple of days before the 360 was going to come out, I had an email saying that they couldn't fulfill my pre-order, even though I pre-ordered it the day the pre-orders went out, blah, blah, blah. Anyway, so I ended up queuing up at Tesco's for the midnight launch, and they only got 5 Xboxes in, and I was third in the queue. So I was quite happy, but they had 4 with the hard drive and 1 without the hard drive. Obviously, I got the one with the
Xbox
hard drive.
Arcade, as it was known then.
Yeah, so, and my launch games that I purchased was Condemned, and I think Project Gotham. They had a Project Gotham on launch, I believe.
Yeah, Project Gotham and...
Project Gotham 3 and Ridge Racer 6.
Oh, okay, cool. Yeah.
Did any of you get King Kong?
I did get that, but not on launch day. I did play it
for the 1000G.
For the 1000G, yeah. Because even like as soon as the 360 launched, I did become a Chivo whore.
Speaking of Chivo whores, I've mentioned this before, but Condemned was never a 1000G game. It was a 970 gamer score total for some random reason, and I think it might be one of the only games that's under 1,000 gamer score for the actual retail.
Wow.
Because arcade games were capped at 200G, weren't they, as well back then?
They were, yes. Yeah.
Which made sense because of the the price of the game compared to the price of a boxed retail full release, sort of big release.
Yeah. Yeah, so anyway, the launch titles for the 360, and I think I've played most of these, was Amped 3, Call of Duty 2, which was awesome. Really enjoyed that one. Condemned, FIFA 06, Gun, Madden NFL 06, NBA.
Oh, Gun, yeah, which was also out on the normal Xbox and stuff at the same time, wasn't it? It was just like a better version.
Yeah.
I think a lot of these were on both.
Yeah.
COD wasn't, though, because I think wasn't Call of Duty called like the big red one or something on the previous generation.
Yeah.
I mean,
I think Call of Duty 2 was out on PC almost a full year before it came to 360.
But I remember what sold me in COD 2 was you'd go into like game shops and stuff, and they'd have the 360 booths up, and COD 2 was always the game that they had shown or that you could play like a demo of. And I was like, wow, this looks amazing, you know? And then we had NHL 2K6 Perfect Dark Zero.
Uh-oh.
Yeah.
All I remember is watching videos on that, and they kept, look at these walls. Look how realistic the bricks look. I was like, shame it was an average game at best. Plus another one of those tight games that even if you completed the game, you got maybe 10 or 20.
Yeah, and the rest of it was in multiplayer, wasn't it? The achievements.
And nobody was online.
Which was a bonus because a lot of the guys I ended up playing games with on GRAW later on in the 360's life cycle, they'd all met up playing multiplayer on Perfect Dark beforehand, and they all moved over onto GRAW, and then me and my mates bumped into them, and it sort of like all merged from that.
Awesome. Project Gotham 3, King Kong, Quake 4, Ridge Racer 6, Tiger Woods Golf 06, Tony Hawk's American Wasteland. Cameo's not on this list I've got on this website. But
yeah, that's weird. Yeah, I'm pretty sure that
being
was
launched.
Title.
Yeah, I'm sure it was.
I thought it came out about a week later or something.
Oh, maybe. Okay. I remember Cameo being like, I've been blown away by that. That was fucking awesome.
This is actually, when you think about it, quite a big list of games like launching for a system.
Yeah, man. Yeah, for sure. Yeah, there's some good games there as well. Project Gotham. Oh, I fucking miss the Project Gotham series so much. But also, Xbox Live Arcade launched on launch day, apparently, on the 360. I don't actually quite remember it on day one, but this is making me remember slightly. Bejeweled 2. Now, I remember playing Bejeweled 2. Geometry Wars Retro Evolved, which still a great game even now.
Yeah, that was a big hit, wasn't it?
Yeah. And Gauntlet. Sorry.
Oh, yeah. Gauntlet, yeah, that's not bad. I was remembering, didn't Hexic come installed on the system?
Oh, yes, I loved Hexic HD. Fucking played that so much.
Yeah, Webby. Cameo was the launch title in America on the 22nd of November, but it came out about a couple of weeks later in December in the EU. So for some reason it was 2 weeks late over here.
Which is weird because it's a rare game as well, isn't it?
Yeah, that's right, yeah.
No, loads of people have got it.
Ha ha.
Oh, I thought that was hilarious.
Well, yeah. And then, yeah, those were the launch games for the 360 anyway, and I think that was actually a pretty solid launch, really. I do think so, with all those really good games.
I think if you've got like a good 2 or 3 games that you're just like, like that's a good launch.
Yeah.
Even over the next, like,
because you don't want too many to be overwhelmed.
Yeah. I was saying, even over the next 2 or 3 months, I had some really good games. I had like the Tomb Raider, Legend. I think Oblivion came out like January. So I think they had some really.
No, Oblivion was a bit later, I believe, because I had a 360 by the time that came out, and I didn't get mine until March.
Yeah,
I believe whenever Dead or Alive came out, I picked it up then, and I remember around that time as well, you had Fight Night, one of the Fight Night games, which is pretty cool, and obviously Ghost Recon, Advanced Warfare.
Yeah, so good. So yeah, the launch was straight because the 360. I've still got my launch day 360. No HDMI port because HDMI wasn't a thing in 2006.
It wasn't added until the Xbox Elite.
Yeah, it obviously the hard drive wasn't a standard feature, so you could get the arcade version as we touched on with just a memory card. Well, you had to buy the memory card separate, so unless you bought a memory card or a hard drive, you couldn't save anything.
The difference that you could tell by looking at it was the disk drive and the power, like the open button, was all white, wasn't it? Whereas on the premium one, it was silver.
Yeah, yeah. And just a couple of features that I missed from the original 360. One is the faceplate that you could change. There's no
build of the game and get a faceplate. I've got a faceplate, I think, from a couple of games. I think I've got a Rainbow Six one and Lost Planet.
Amazing.
I think had a weird faceplate as well, that random extra.
Wow. That's cool, man. Yeah. Remember that? Yeah, you could get loads of different faceplates for different things. And just another thing I miss, the social aspect of like things like 1 versus 100. Do you remember this came up on my Twitter feed actually today. Netflix on the 360, you could sit in a little theatre room with your mates and watch a show together.
Yeah. Never did it, but I saw footage.
Yeah. Yeah. You know, crazy, man. Yeah, it was a good time. Yeah. Yeah, just stuff like that, really.
Onwards
and upwards. So yeah, that's So I'm just trying to find a little video here. A couple of people watching something there. Yeah, so we're going to be doing this once a month. Obviously, we've done July. We'll be doing August in a week or two. In
August?
Well, yeah. Next week's the next recording's in August. So, that's what I'm saying. Either next week or the following weeks.
A week after or something. Yeah. Probably be easier.
Just go down memory lane. I think that's a really cool discussion point. Some good memories there. Some goldies that we'd completely forgotten about. So yeah, all good. Let's talk about games we've played this week then, shall we? Getting into some newer stuff. How's that?
Indeed.
Who wants to start? Nick, would you like to start us off?
Yeah, I want to go into... I don't know if Darren's played it, if you want to jump in as well. Have you played any Donkey Kong Bonanza yet?
Yes, I have.
So I'll say what I suppose I played it for maybe 8 or 9 hours in the last week.
Nowhere near that much, but yeah. I've played it.
Yeah. I mean, it's a good game so far. It's it's a Nintendo game. You play as Donkey Kong, obviously, and it's a weird game how they set it up. I mean, you're on, what was it? Is it Ingun Island? What they're talking about,
yeah.
And aliens turn up and sink the whole island, which they're mining and digging for gold and bananas and stuff like that. So Donkey Kong's I need to follow that. So because when they sink it in a big hole, so he jumps in the big hole, to try and go down. Because it's weird, it's a weird idea, but that's Nintendo. And it did come out eventually. I think just a week before it came out that this was the Mario Odyssey team that made this. So yeah, so it kind of plays like that. And, I'm enjoying it. I like running around smashing stuff and things like that. It's just weird because you've got a little pet rock. Have you got that yet?
I've just got
Yeah, well, you get a pet rock for some reason that talks to you.
Yeah, they've spoiled it all with the trailers.
Yeah, they
spoiled
it with the trailer. And for some reason, about half an hour later, the rock turns into Pauline from Mario Odyssey, but a younger version of her for some reason. I'm not sure why.
It could be in an earlier timeline.
Mate, I don't think
from Odyssey.
Nintendo have timelines. Yeah. I don't want a timeline in it. That's giving them too much, Oh, it makes sense because none of this makes sense. It's. I mean, I've seen people. I mean, you had her up on there earlier, Webby, that Gemma. People are complaining because for some reason, a lot of the YouTube community are really hating on Switch. For some reason, I was like, well, why'd you buy it then?
I keep seeing the weird sort of hatred against it, and I'm just like, why? Yeah. It's a good system. The Switch was a good system.
Yeah, I mean, going on a half an hour rant, why that's not Diddy Kong and that's Pauline? I'm like, well, that'll probably be for the sequel, won't it? But I mean, yeah, I'm enjoying it, so I'll just sort of what I've put on there. Yeah,
I think this again has started it this afternoon. It's got beautiful production value, I will say. The whole thing looks extremely crisp and colourful. Really well made. They've actually thought the level design out pretty damn well, considering all the stuff that's hidden away in the areas that you're smashing through. Because you can obviously, there's quite a fair amount of different controls for punching upwards, smashing down, straight ahead. So you can sort of tunnel down and then go across, but even the viewpoints shift in an intelligent way so you can still see what you're doing and where you're going.
Yeah, I can imagine.
And where you want to pop back out of and stuff.
Yeah. I can imagine less games than this. The camera just shit in the bed all the time.
I mean, you've got those nice bits here, haven't you? Like where you're underground, and then you see like a gold oil ore vein, and you know you can travel through that.
Yeah, that's pretty decent. But yeah, like I said, I mean, also, I mean, have you got the skill tree yet?
No.
Oh, so I'm just spoiling everything. But basically, you collect the bananas.
Oh, I know about all of this from like the direct.
Basically, you get like skill trees. You like the more bananas you get a skill point and unlock the skill trees. Like, you know, your punches do more damage, more hearts, and stuff like that. And yeah, I mean, it's decent. I mean, I suppose I'm not saying, you know, I've got a few negatives about it that might annoy some people, which, you know, like.
I mean, you've got the thing, haven't you, as well, with the different levels you go into have like a terrain toughness value.
Yeah.
Whether that's like to punch through, and obviously you'll need to upgrade your punches to get
you upgrade your punch. I've heard if you, I don't know if there is a new game plus, but I've heard if you upgrade your punch all the way, that you near enough punch a level twice and you just like destroy the entire level. Which I don't know if I want that, but yeah, I enjoy. Like I said, it's got some of the. It's like I said, it's got some of the puzzles in the game, and it's also got these weird bits where you whistle a bit later and you like jump into these like other worlds. It's basically the
challenge modes.
Yeah, it's like the Mario, you know, the green pipes that you go down. So you go to another little mini area, which is good because it tells you on the bit where you go down, like how many bananas are hidden there. So it's like, oh, smash this building up in less than 60 seconds, but then smash it with 20 seconds left on the clock, and you get like 2 bananas, and then there'll be a banana hidden somewhere in the level and stuff like that. I mean, I think some of it's optional, but I think you need like to get power ups and things like that. But yeah, I mean, I could go for a couple of. I say negatives; they're not stupid, but
go for it because I've got negatives about some games I've played.
Yeah, well, basically, you can't smash everything, which I suppose that makes sense. If not, you just
no, you do hit bedrock and stuff.
Yeah, there's some stuff that you can't smash, but some the physics aren't that realistic. Like if you smash something all the way along the bottom, and it should fall down, but it will just float there. You know, so that might annoy some people. It's not the end of the world, I suppose. The only thing with me, but this happens with me with a lot of Switch games. Like, it's lovely in handheld mode, and I tried it on the TV for a while. And like I said, I've got a big 65-inch TV, and I'm about maybe 5 foot away from it. And some of the text is slightly too small to read when you're on the TV. I mean, I know you say, "Oh, well, sit closer to the TV," but you know, it depends how far. But I think
5 foot, not bad.
Yeah, I think that's kind of normal where you're supposed to sit. But obviously, that's always the thing when you do a handheld, you know, console game, sort of hybrid. I think I had the same thing with like Xenoblade and a few other games over the years, like for Switch One. You know, the text. I think if they had the text big enough to see on a TV, then it would be too big on handheld mode, if you know what I mean. It would cover everything. You know, that's kind of annoying. Oh, what else is there? Oh, yeah, the only thing, like, Pauline, she talks sometimes, and I thought, come on, Nintendo, you can do this now. The rest of the characters are still doing that stupid Nintendo blah, 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 when they're talking.
Like the monkeys, like...
Well, I understand why a monkey...
pretty casual while you're beating the shit out of everything around them and flying and and cheering you and that.
Yeah, the NPCs accidentally beat the shit out of them and they just giggle, but I just think, oh, come on. You know, this day and age and how much memory... I understand why they couldn't on the, you know, N64, you know, because sound files were, you know, quite big, you know, MP3s and stuff like most of the PlayStation. A lot of that was like the sound files, you know, how much it was. Because I think they said like Final Fantasy VII, they could have fit that all on one disc, but they had to have 3 discs to get all the music and FMVs in there.
To be honest, I'm kind of cool with like generally a lot of the animal characters not necessarily speaking properly, like because it kind of suits that type of game anyway.
Possibly, it's just. I know that when they do other games, they're still going to do the same thing. It's just, it's more weird because Pauline does talk and the rest of them don't. You know what I mean? And also, I mean, you said the graphics
and stuff.
I mean, you said the graphics. I think the graphics are okay in that Nintendo style. Do you know what I mean? But when you look at,
like I said, for what they are, like the actual sort of the character models and everything. Like when I was coming out of the water, and I left him for just a brief second, and he started shaking himself off.
Yeah, like I said, it's that Nintendo thing. But I think, if you would look at like Astrobot or even Ratchet and Clank, like a PS5 launch title, those games, the graphics are way better than this. But I suppose
it depends on the visual style they're going for.
Yeah, it's like I said, it's a different type of thing. Like I said, I don't think there's any ray tracing in this game, is there?
No, but does it need it?
No, probably not. I'm just saying that's like a slight nitpick because I've heard some people say that the graphics are crap, but I think they've always done that with Nintendo, but didn't they? They complained about it because I think they said this is about as powerful as maybe a PS4 Pro.
Somewhere around there, but again, like I said, I think the graphics for the visual style and what they're going for, they look great.
Yeah, like I say, it's the art style rather than the outright graphics, isn't it? Yeah. Well, I don't want to
you can have any game. You can have like we've always said about this, like the art style for a game can just be timeless.
Well, the pixels and like the
depending on what they're going for with the art style,
radio type games and cell shading and stuff like that.
But yeah, I mean the cell shading ones can be improved with high resolution and stuff.
Yeah, I don't want to go. I mean, I don't go too much into spoilers because I'm ahead of you, but I'm enjoying it so far, and I'm gonna. I mean, I don't know how long the game is, but I'm gonna try to finish it in the next few weeks.
It will be one of those ones, I think, that's going to have loads of extra stuff, sort of like bananas.
Do you play your Switch and switch to just handheld, or do you actually play it on the TV and handheld?
Oh no, I've been playing it on the TV mainly.
Yeah, but with the whole
and it was
controller.
Yeah, no, I've been using the thingy controller. The Pro, is it the Pro controller? I can't remember what they call it. The Nintendo Switch 2 controller thing.
Yeah, the new one. That's really nice, isn't it? The new.
Yeah, it's a nice. It definitely feels a lot better to play Donkey Kong with that because I've tried it with both.
Yeah, the only thing is a bit sometimes because you hold the in handheld mode. I sometimes accidentally keep whistling when I'm not supposed to because you press the R button to stamp to pick everything up, don't you? And then the L, which he whistles, and the other will whistle, and you follow the note so it tells you where to go. I mean, you know how much I like something telling me where to go nice and easily because I get lost easily. Yeah, but sometimes and a bit later, it's you actually have to press both buttons at the same time, and I sometimes accidentally keep pressing that. But yeah, that's good. I mean, I'm not expecting any major reveals. I don't think there's going to be Ares getting killed or anything like that in a Nintendo game, is the story wise. I think the story is the gameplay and the puzzles in it.
Oh yeah, it's just that it's like I say, it's just Nintendo doing what it does best.
Yeah, I mean DK is quite funny. Yeah, that maybe. DK is quite funny. I mean, every time, and I said it last week, I think you said it at the start, when he get it and you just hear the little jingle. I mean, the music's brilliant in it. I find myself keep whistling the music and stuff, and every time he gets it, you hear the little drum beats. It's like banana. And every time I get a banana and he says it, I say it as well, banana, and the girlfriend's like, shut up.
You were right about my screen as well. When you mentioned that, I did check, and for some reason, the default it was set to 97% screen size.
Yeah, did you work that out? Yeah.
Yeah, I just popped it up, to the full screen, and the borders all disappeared. They were only slight, but again, they didn't really super bother me because they weren't that big. But getting rid of them was awesome.
Yeah, and I don't know what's next. I mean, I suppose the next one is Pokemon towards Christmas. And I don't know about Metroid, because I know Metroid 4 is supposed to be out, but they haven't put a date on it yet, have they?
I'm thinking if this isn't a winter this year, it'll be a spring next year.
Yeah, I think that's why when they've said they haven't put an actual date on it, it's going to get delayed, isn't it? Again, I mean,
I think they're working it out. I mean, I imagine they probably wanted Donkey Kong originally to be a launch title.
Well, they just staggered them, didn't they?
But it
I mean,
just
like I
wasn't
said, I
fully
don't.
done.
They're going to do as much as what they did with Switch 1 on Switch 2, aren't they? You know, I think Switch 1 came out with what, Zelda, and then about a couple of months later, Mario Kart, and then towards Christmas they had like Mario Odyssey and a Pokemon game. So, you know, like I said, what would they have sold more copies if they'd have brought them both out on launch? I think
Again,
I think people would have then. Oh, well, do I get Mario Kart or Donkey Kong?
yeah, exactly. Yeah, you're talking about pretty much the same audience.
Yeah,
The people that would buy them.
Yeah, now people are like, oh, I played Mario Kart for a month. Oh, Donkey Kong's out a month later. Oh, I'll get that.
Yeah, it does work like that as well, strategically.
Just on another note, just thanks to What's My Tag for sharing a rumor on the Discord group just now. Apparently, the Battlefield 6 Battle Royale map has been leaked. Take this as a rumor. Looks quite big. It has a golf resort, a city street, some docks, a valley, a marina. Looks quite interesting. I'll put a link. Well, if you go into the Discord and go into the Battlefield chat room, you'll see all the links there. Take it with a pinch of salt, as I say, because, you know, it could just be someone's made this up, but I just thought that was quite interesting. Apparently the Battle Royales might release beginning of next year for Battlefield 6. But yeah, cheers for that, mate. Always a little bit of a rumour is always good fun to have and discuss. Yeah, cool. You played anything, Darren? Apart from Donkey Kong?
I've played a few things. So I'll start by talking about it. It's an old game, and I know maybe both of you have played this.
Oh,
Control.
Yes, very good game. I played the Ultimate Edition a few years later.
That is the version I was playing, the sort of PS5 Ultimate Edition. I picked it up for like £8 or something ridiculous.
Yeah.
Wow.
And it's kind of a game that could come out today.
It is,
even though it's like 5 years old now. It's 5 or 6 years old, I think. I really like the idea behind, obviously, that game and kind of what they're trying to create in the Alan Wake sort of world, as it were, sort of universe. Because I remember when I was playing through Alan Wake 2, I mentioned a few characters and people were like, yeah, he appears in Control, actually. That was the first one he appeared in. The janitor character.
Yeah. What?
Yeah, I couldn't remember him when I played Alan Wake 2.
Yeah, I remember.
And
Because he's one of the biggest characters in
one
Control.
of the point.
Yeah,
they're talking in one of the DLCs. It actually deals with Alan Wake.
Yeah, I never played
it
that
talks
DLC.
about the altered world event that happened at Cauldron Lake. And you're speaking to the janitor character, and obviously it's about the darkness in this bit. It's kind of merged into what's going on in the control center, this old house, or whatever it's called, the first house.
Right.
And it says about the darkness, and the janitor says, like, oh, if you haven't got any lights, you could just wrap yourself in Christmas lights, maybe.
Brilliant.
Yeah. It's like
Barry.
a little nod.
Yeah.
Sort of mentioning that and everything. And I noticed when I'm going through, because in this ancient house that the whole game takes place in, the thought process and ideas for this game are really good. In the fact that this is like an ancient office building, like a big bureau that's like completely paranormal and it's hidden from the naked eye. People don't know it's there.
Yeah, it's weird, isn't it? Yeah.
And obviously inside they study all these occult sort of items or objects of power, as they call them, that have been inhabited by spirits from another realm, etc. And again, they tie into all of this again with Alan Wake 2. There's stuff there where it mentions the agent you play as in Alan Wake 2 as well in some of the profiles, saying she's currently stationed at Cauldron Lake. And there's been issues with the towers, they transmitters that register the activity in the area. There's mention, obviously, of the Kloska brothers and stuff as well in some of the leaflets and things you pick up. But yeah, this is like, that world aside, this is obviously a sort of third-person sort of shooter type of game with some really cool powers and abilities that all feel really good to use and quite simple and easy to use as well.
What made you go back and play this, mate? Because I say it's been out for quite a long time.
Yeah, like I say, I picked it up cheap, and I think I just had an afternoon, and you know when you have that itch, and you just like, I fancy sticking like a good 2-3 hours into a game that I know I'm going to kind of enjoy, and I've always wanted to try out, and I just looked at my rack, and started from A, worked down, and was like, Control, yes, let's give that a bash. And
how are you getting on with the map?
Oh, I've completely platinumed the game, and like basically finished the whole thing.
Wow.
I powered it.
Wow.
Over a couple of days. It was just kind of, it's balls hard, I will say, at places.
Some places. But I know it's like when I got this, I remember I talked about it a few years ago, like, you can't play it like a cover shooter, like a tactical cover shooter.
You have to actually, run I started playing it as a cover shooter, like taking
I did.
behind covers and stuff, but then you get to the classic thing. I will say it's kind of a good thing, but annoying as well. This is almost a rogues gallery of some of the most frustratingly annoying enemies you can come across in a game.
Oh, and some awful jumping sections.
Yeah, sort of, but levitate makes all that easy.
Yeah. Oh, I didn't unlock that until much too late.
Yeah, no, there's a couple of places where I think I was stuck somewhere and was like, there's no way I can make this gap, like with a double jump. There's literally no way I'm making this. And then I checked the quest name. All right, yeah, you can't do this until you've unlocked levitate. And I was just like, oh,
yeah, that's what I did. Like, you have to ignore some of the missions and then come back to them later. But it's,
Yeah, some missions, basically, you get like these alerts, bureau alerts, because you're basically working for the bureau, which again is something completely and utterly shrouded in secrecy that I imagine they'll touch on over future games. But it's also cool to kind of keep that a mystery as well anyway. It's just more intriguing. Sometimes just permanent mysteries are far more intriguing than like trying to answer it. What's actually fully going on. Yeah, the grenade throwers, the grenade spam was a complete and utter annoyance as well, because you've obviously got the big bastards that just hammer off loads of grenades. You've got the little ones that just run off and fire like homing rockets at you. You've got the flying things that shoot stuff down at you from above. You've got suicide. Can we get rid of suicide enemies in games, please? I'm getting pretty sick of those. And this game chucks a lot of them at you.
And it always seems to be right at almost the end of a big battle as well, doesn't it?
Yes. Yeah, you're fighting a load of bosses and all of a sudden you're like, oh shit, what the hell is all this? Oh, God. But yeah, you've got plenty of upgrades. You can upgrade your gun to obviously all these different types of forms that do different damage to enemies, and you unlock perks that you can slot into those guns and level them up to be able to put more perks into them and stuff. There's a lot there, but it is a nice sort of like sliced game. And I noticed with the tie-ins as well, you go at one point to a hotel that you're never explained where it is. And as you're going through the hotel, there's like a bunch of doors, but you can only really ever go into one of them, which is the one with the black pyramid on the door. but then there are multiple other doors with different symbols on them, one of which has got the swirl on it, which is from Alan Wake. So if you play Alan Wake 2, you'll notice those swirls around a lot.
Mm.
And there's a point in the DLC where you do actually get to go in there and see like a cutscene with the actual actor that I think ended up playing Alan Wake in the second game as well.
Oh, nice.
Sort of talking, because they kind of blend a lot of mediums into these games, which keeps them kind of interesting.
Yeah.
They merge, obviously, media, skits, advertisements, a bit like the way that there was the famous, was it Super Baseball Bat Boy or something that was on the TVs in Max Payne?
Oh,
back in the day.
Oh, Jesus.
You had the little TV show that used to be on in certain parts, and obviously in this you've got like the Threshold Kids videos, you've got the stuff with Dr. Darling, and he at one point he does like a weird musical number as well. And there was that kind of cool scene where you're walking through a room that's constantly shifting and changing, like the building itself does, but this is like a maze. But you're listening to music on headphones, which is, I think, from the Old Gods of Asgard.
Oh, wicked! That's
as you're going through it. It's like I say, it's such an interesting and well thought out sort of universe that they could take this kind of thing in all so many different sort of weird directions. Because I'm trying to remember at the end of one of the DLCs for Alan Wake 2, it was the one where you play as Officer Estevez, basically going through almost like a control level event in the facility based at Cauldron Lake.
Oh, okay.
Which someone else used to be a director of, who I think is now mentioned being dead, obviously, throughout lore and Control and stuff. But if you do a certain thing in that, you're teleported to someone inside one of those, and it's actually, come to think of it, you're pulling on the string 3 times. So I don't know if you remember that, to speak or have the building change, you pull like a light cord 3 times.
Oh, yes. It's been so long since I played it.
Transports you, So that actually makes an appearance in Alan Wake 2. And you're teleported in front of a cage of a guy who's basically locked up, and he starts talking to you about stuff at one of the houses.
Right.
Somewhere, some event or something that's going on. And I'm trying to remember if that's actually to do with her brother, because she's originally there, like Jessie's looking for her brother. That's why she goes to this bureau in the first place.
Ah. Very cool, mate. It's good to go back to older games, isn't it? So sometimes,
yeah, like I said, and it was fun, and it felt to me timeless in the fact that this could have come out this week.
Yeah, it still holds up.
Like it still holds up really well. The gameplay's tight. The environments are kind of fun and interesting to go through as well.
Yeah, nice.
Decent sort of amount. Right, a bit of freedom in where you can go whenever you want. You can teleport about. You, like I said, you get these weird. Sorry, cut off earlier. I was remembering like bureau alerts, where you're kind of given missions on the fly.
Oh, right, okay.
Like rogue agents in this location, we need them eliminated, or like nodes that need destroying, or the worst one, which is protection. Every time that comes up, I ignore it because you just run to the location and already they're getting mullered.
Yeah.
By the enemies. Especially if it's like the screeching, exploding enemies and stuff. Playing this game in headphones is really weird, though. It's cool, but it does get a bit much with all of the talking.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
Because if you remember, like, the location's actually being taken over by, like, an entity called the Hiss that basically gets into people's heads, like, with this speech that just keeps repeating and going on, and it's mumbled and stuff, and people have to wear these resonance HRAs, resonance amplifiers, I think it is, to basically protect themselves from the thing. Otherwise, they turn crazy, like all the other people in the place. But it's just cool going through like the locations with like the bodies just sort of like suspended, sort of like being hung like in the air and stuff. Just to add to all the craziness.
Nice. Well, I'm glad you enjoyed it.
Good game.
Yeah.
I've still got a little bit to go on the last of the DLCs, which is the one where I'm kind of going around like an excavation site.
Nice.
Because there's been a breach in the basement. But each of the DLCs just takes you to a different level in the actual house. Because when you finish the game, it kind of keeps going if you want it to.
Right, okay.
If there's a few pickups you want to find, or also Peeps, if he hasn't played this, it's a pretty simple platinum, to be honest.
It's probably on
it's really,
PS Plus by now, I would have thought, maybe.
It's really generous with some of the things as well, like, I think when I was briefly looking through it was like, find like 180 collectibles or something like that, and you think, oh, bloody hell. But then that's like hardly anything, like when you think about it. Because there's so much information and stuff to pick up and you're playing through the game that it's always generous. Like even like things like Capture 25 control points, which are basically your fast travels about the building.
Yeah.
There's there's more than 25 in the game easily. So there's some interesting secrets as well. Did either of you do the one where you go into the mirror world?
Probably not, mate. As I say, it's been so long since I played it.
Yeah, because it's
a lot of it.
Kind of crazy, like the stuff that obviously goes on there, because you've got these altered world objects or objects of power, or whatever they are, and you basically end up cleansing a bunch of them, and there's like a little lore behind each one, like the clock that keeps replicating itself. So there's like entire floors of this building that have just been abandoned because there's just piles of these clocks that keep duplicating. Left about.
Weird. Very strange.
But yeah, moving on anyway.
Oh, mate, yeah. I did finish a game this week. Finally finished Death Stranding.
Nice.
Yeah, it's one of those weird games for me that it took me 3 attempts to actually get into it. But once I finally got into it, it is like that story. And I spoke to Peebs about this, and I said, it was quite fun. I was in party chat with Peebs. I said, oh, I finished Death Stranding. He was like, oh, yeah. And I was like, have you finished it? And he said, yeah. And I said, oh, what do you think of the story? And he's like, oh, I skipped all the cutscenes, mate. I was like, what? I can't believe it. Like, so I had to, like, even though he completed the game, I had to explain to him the story. So I was explaining him the story. I'm not going to spoil it for people that haven't played it. And he was like, oh, that's actually sounds really good. I said, yeah, you missed out on a lot. Yeah, so for me, the actual gameplay itself of traversing the world is probably the bit I didn't like. At the beginning, I hated the most. But then when I got to the end of the game, or towards the end of the game, I think I mentioned last week as well, it actually made sense why it takes you so long to traverse the environment, because you're actually traveling from the east coast to the west coast of America and you're connecting the network. So obviously it's going to take a long time to traverse from point to point. But what really made it for me of the game wasn't actually the gameplay itself, it was the story. Actually, once you get near the end, and actually at the end, like, it actually sort of makes sense, because like throughout the game you're getting all these weird cutscenes with a lot of characters. I'd mentioned last week about the character Mads Mikkelsen plays, and
Cliff.
Yeah, Cliff, and like there's a lot of cutscenes throughout the game where he's like holding the baby. It's like BB, and he's talking to the BB. And then later on in the game, you actually feel like, because I was like, why the fuck does this keep happening? This is so weird. But then at the end of the game, and it's right at the end, there's a really long cutscene, and some parts are actually playable. I'm not going to spoil the story, but it actually made sense. I was like, oh, and it didn't even twig to me that could even be a thing, right? And some of my favourite levels or segments in the game was when you were sucked into like his beach, and that, like, so the beaches are what like their kind of worlds are called, the alternate realities, if that makes sense. And his is always set in like a World War I or II scenario. Those sections were so fucking cool, man. So good. But no, as I mentioned before, I'm just going to glaze over it. The graphics are absolutely stunning, almost photorealistic, and for a game that's quite old now, that's very impressive to me. The gameplay, once you actually get guns and stuff, it's a lot better. Like some of the story and the characters you meet along the way are so fucking weird. You're like, what the hell is going on? But then it kind of like, once it twigs in your mind, you're like, oh, okay. It's weird as fuck, but kind of makes sense. It's just a weird and wacky story by Hideo Kojima. That guy's got one strange imagination. But no, I really enjoyed the game. I thought it was good. But as I mentioned last week, I think it just takes too long to actually get into. And I think that's one of the thing with Death Stranding 2. I've heard some complaints from people saying it's overly simplified from the first one. But I think the positive on that is you can get into it a lot quicker. From what I've heard on the sequel.
I'm actually wondering as well, because obviously you've mentioned all that before. People like was simplified, etc. from it. I mean, maybe it was a criticism from the first one that it took you a little while before you start unlocking sort of like things to fight back against stuff that's going on in the game, etc. And actually having those enemies about that you're just not just trying to avoid them constantly.
Yeah.
Plus, that's obviously going to be a criticism and better for people to get into that early on. Also, the people that played the first game, they're not going to want to have to sort of like work through all of that again to get back to the stuff that they already had access to at the end of the last game.
Makes sense.
So that makes also a little bit more sense there.
Yeah. So I finished it now. It's definitely a game, like story-wise, it's a game that's going to stick with me for quite a long time just because there's nothing else like it. Like, you can't compare it to anything else. It's one of those, I would say, like video games as art type scenarios, just because it's gorgeous. It has gameplay that hasn't really been replicated, with just the way it works with the online component and people leaving like ladders in really cool places and bridges and things like that. But just the story, the characters you meet, the famous actors that are used as characters, and like the facial animations are just stunning, and it's just all comes together in just a really wow. Like once it clicks, you're just like, wow, like what the fuck? This is just so good, you know? Yeah, they've done it. Like Hideo Kojima and the team have done a really good job with the original. And
have you seen? He has actually met with the Claire Obscure developers. He met with them, I think, earlier this week.
Oh, nice.
Because he's a fan of the game.
Oh, fantastic.
And I think while they were over there, the Claire Obscure, like it's not the whole team obviously, but there was like a few of them there. They also went to Square Enix as well and met like the Final Fantasy people.
Oh, fantastic.
Team and stuff.
Oh, fantastic. Yeah, that's cool.
Which is all good news, because if people want to collab or borrow and shit from other developers that are great at what they do, go for it.
Yeah, for sure. Have you played much any more of Death Stranding 2 this week, Darren, or are you just kind of...
I've just given it a little break while I was doing Control. I was just like, because I knew what type of game Control was, I was just like, right, let's just start it. And I know it's not super long.
Yeah.
And just basically get through it. Not like forcing myself to rush through it or anything like that. I'm still taking my time with it and enjoying it.
Yeah. I think I'm going to wait.
I know it's harder to go back to that.
Yeah, I think I'm going to wait for the PC version of Death Stranding 2. So I'll be next year before I play that.
So you can mod all the oil out and make the game easier.
Pretty much. Well, you know, I'm a noob, Nick. Just on another quick note, though, just off the back of that, I played only for about an hour off the back of that, Metal Gear Solid 5. I don't know.
Oh, right, the Patriots? No, is it Patriots?
Phantom Pain, isn't it?
Oh, Phantom Pain, yeah.
Yeah, the best one.
Yeah, because you remember they did the Metal Gear, and this has actually reminded me. Like I couldn't. Do you remember they did Metal Gear Solid 5 like a demo, but it was like a £20 demo.
Yeah, Ground
I
Zero.
put it Ground Zeroes, yeah.
Yeah, do you remember that? And then it was like your save data went over to Phantom Pain.
It wasn't. I think it was only like 15 quid or something, but
Yeah.
it had like a bit of replayability, didn't it?
Yeah, that's right. And like those memories just came flooding back to me. And I was
And they
thinking,
also decided to blow a woman to fucking smithereens in it.
yeah, that's it. Yeah.
At the end of it, it's just
Well,
like, what the
sometimes
fuck
you got to.
Poor old Paz.
But it just like because the game's over 10 years old now, and I was just thinking,
Ground Zeroes.
Phantom Pain.
Yeah, I'm sorry, yeah.
2015.
Bloody hell! I bet it still looks great as well, doesn't it?
Well, this is what I was going to say. So it came out 2015, as Nick just said. So yeah, 10 years old. Which wow, still looks good and plays pretty well as well. So I'd never played it on PC because I had it on the Xbox One, but I own it on Steam because I must have got it in a Humble Bundle or something. So I thought I'd give it a bish bash bosh for an hour or two. And again, a wacky beginning, which I completely, with the fire and stuff like that. And I was like, what the fuck is going on here? But the actual gameplay, like, it's weird because it's actually so arcadey. Like, and there's little things that I've completely forgotten. Like, you could knock out the enemies and attach a balloon to them, and then the balloon just takes them up in the sky, and then they get added to your mother base as a soldier. I was like, what the, this makes no sense. And you could do that with animals and all sorts. It's like, what the fuck? It's just so weird.
Like, brainwash them to be on your side type
That's
thing.
it. Yeah. But,
I like this game. A lot of people complained because, I mean, if you want to play stealth, you can play stealth.
Yeah.
If you want to go in all guns blazing, you can go in all guns blazing. If you want to play like me, where you try stealth and then after 10 minutes accidentally shoot something and then you have to kill everyone. So I think that's why a lot of people didn't like this game.
Yeah, but it's so different to the other Metal Gear Solid games because it is a true open world game. You have the big map.
You were basically building a group, weren't you?
Yeah, so you got your mother base and you build that up as you go along. But the actual map itself, like you tell the helicopter. So for the mission, you tell the helicopter where to drop you on the map, and then you go towards the mission and you're scoping out the area with your binoculars, and you can kind of in your mind like set a route. You could take different weapons, like a sniper rifle if you want to be, take that stealth approach from far away. Night vision goggles. You can take like a machine gun, rocket launcher. All these different things, so you could kind of play it as you want. So it's such a big departure from the traditional Metal Gear games where you're kind of funneled through mission to mission, which I think it did put a lot of people off, I think. But it's just such weird gameplay. Like again, like the whole thing of that balloon and building up your base with these people you're brainwashing. Such a weird concept I'd never seen in a video game before then. And graphically, Darren, it still holds up pretty damn well, to be honest. The only letdown I would say, though, is on PC there's no ultra-wide option. So I've got the big black borders on the sides of my monitor, but that's just a...
I bet it is annoying if you have got an ultra-wide system, I guess.
Yeah.
I do remember this game made me rage so bad, like back then, because I remember I got so annoyed I was literally foaming at the mouth, screaming, and I frisbees the disc out the window. And then I had to go and find it. Because, because that's how mad I got. Which, obviously, I was doing it wrong. I played through pretty much to the final boss, where there's like 2 Metal Gear things, and I just didn't upgrade any weapons at all.
Oh dear.
Because I obviously ignored that bit of the tutorial, because you know how much I don't read tutorials.
Of course, yeah.
And then I was like, oh, okay. So then I upgraded all my weapons, and then I did it first time easily. So I'm like, oh.
That'll learn.
But there's also a lot of end game stuff and missions like after the game where you play as quiet and things like that as well, Webby, which I've seen people play them. I haven't played them myself.
Right, no, I don't remember doing any of that on the Xbox version at all.
Yeah, there's a lot more other... I think they unlock after you play the game, but you wouldn't know unless you reload the game.
Right.
And do something, and then it unlocks.
I think so. I think sometimes it's just quite nice to, as Darren did with Control, to go back to some of those older games, be it 10 years old or whatever. Just to
Everyone's missed out on gems. Like, every
Yeah.
single one of us has missed out on games that you can now pick up for like 10, 15 quid that are still
100%.
fantastic looking.
Well, because
still play
10
really
years
well.
ago, you were getting loads of decent games coming out in a year, whereas now they're kind of like few and far between. I think the majority, they all seem to be big budget titles every 5 years, and I think there's maybe one or two, a month, even in the busy season. Whereas, like you say, peak 360, you would get like 3-4 games a week, wouldn't you?
Sometimes,
yeah.
Yeah. But no, this isn't a game I missed out on. I just have vague memories on it because back then I was kind of ploughing through games so quick. I was like, oh, yeah, fancy playing that again. I was like, I was just quite surprised at how good it plays and how good it still looks. Holds up very well, even by today's standards, which is quite positive. Anyway, back to you, Nick.
Yeah, I played another new-ish game this week. Tony Hawk's 3 and 4 remaster.
What did you think of this?
Honestly, shit.
Same as me then.
Well, I mean, I've played 1 and 2 remaster, which I liked because I played a lot of Tony Hawk's 1 and 2 on PS1.
Mm-hmm.
And then I played it again a few years ago. I mean, this was one where I remember when I said I was playing it on Dreamcast, Webby, and I was saying they should really remake this game. It would be awesome. And they did. So I take complete responsibility for all these games being remade. And, they could send me the check for them, which I don't know if they're going to get that much money. But, I mean, it's a fairly budget title. I think it's like 30, 35 quid. And also it's on Game Pass. So that's where I played. And I think that's what ruined it for me. I cannot play these games on a Xbox controller.
See, I can, but the thing is, I don't have the nostalgia that a lot of other people do. I mean, I played the first game on the PS1, enjoyed it, but when I go back and play these games now, I'm just like, 2-minute time limit? Ugh.
Yeah. I mean, that's the whole point. I mean, whereas the 1 and 2 remake, which came out a few years ago, which I bought it on 360 Xbox, and then I got it cheap digitally on PS5. For like the Ultimate Edition, whatever, and that was a much better remake because they had pretty much all the skaters, and I think at least 95% of all the tracks were there. Whereas this one, loads of the tracks, which I've been told aren't in the game.
Yep.
Which I understand. That's licensing, and it's not always that these companies don't want to pay. Sometimes the people who own the tracks just don't want their music on video games anymore or something. Because a lot of them, people aren't about and stuff like that. But also, like I said, I didn't really play 3 and 4.
Yeah.
So like I said, same as you, I don't have any nostalgia for any of the levels. Plus, which the one I was really looking forward to was 4. So I think I said it before when they announced it. 4 was like the first open world one where you could just skate around, do whatever you want, do all the collectibles, and then you talk to some people like a homeless person in a bin and stuff like that. And he would collect all these really quickly, and then you'd get like a minute to collect them. And if you failed it, you could just retry quickly. And, but whereas with this version, they haven't given you the open world. They've just made Tony Hawk's 4 with the 2-minute timers again.
Ugh.
So it's like, come on, don't do. That's why I think they should have released 3 as a half price DLC with 1 and 2. Like a £20 upgrade or something. Extra. And then release 4, but do it properly and release it as a full game.
Yeah.
Whereas this one, it just, like I said, I played it for a couple of hours. I'm like, I'm already. I actually went back and played 1 and 2 remake instead because, like I said, I've got the nostalgia for the music, the tracks, and the skaters. I haven't got it for this one.
Yeah. Yeah, makes sense. Same. Yeah.
Yeah.
Cool, man.
Yeah. And Tony Hawk, he's been doing a lot of like events and things like that, a lot of these conventions, and he's basically, he said they want to do Underground next.
Right, okay.
Is that the open world one?
Yeah, that was the one. I don't know how they're going to do it because I don't know who owns that, but that was the first one with the the people from Jackass as well.
Oh, right. Okay.
Well, Bam Margera or whatever his name is, he's in one of the Tony Hawk's 2 or 3s anyway, isn't he? Or 3 or 4s that's in the remake. Because they've kind of made the modern version of him, I think, for the game.
I mean, they've got some extra characters. They've got they've put Doom Guy in it, and someone else, who's in the new Doom game that's just been out. 2 players, Doom Guy, and someone else off Xbox as well. I can't remember.
Not Master Chief.
No, that would be cool, but that's not him. But then what annoys me, I don't think you can get it in 2 remake, because in 2 remake you could play as
Spider-Man. Yeah.
Oh yeah, that won't be in an Xbox game now, will it?
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking. That's why it wasn't in there. But
yeah.
But even these, and I don't know if they've upped them from the originals, but just some of the stuff is so hard to do. Some of the scores, and like I said, then I watch people on Twitch playing the game, and they'll get 5 million in one trick, and they're like, oh, twats.
It just makes you feel like Nubenstein, doesn't it?
Well, they know how to basically break the game and play it like a video, whereas me, I'm still trying to play it, somewhat realistically. I'll do the moves, I'll grind, I'll hop, I'm jumping. You do the manuals in between. But they added, I think it's in this one as well, which was, I think it was in 3 or 4. They had a wall, plus you can bounce off the wall and keep the trick going.
Right.
So they've basically got some of the levels where they can just constantly go round and round and round, even because once the 2 minutes finished, if you're still doing a trick, it will wait for you to finish that trick.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, thank you.
That's what
because of. Well, was it 3 that introduced the Reaver, or was that 2?
I can't remember. I think 2 might have introduced...
I think, 2, I think, introduced Reaver. It might have been 3 that introduced the manual grind.
No, there's a manual grind too.
Was there? Where you could just, do... Not necessarily where you could just manual and it'll keep your combo going.
Yeah.
Like a grind would.
Yeah. But they put that... But they put a lot of that... in 1 and 2 remake, they put that into 1 as well. Those moves, so that was pretty decent, But yeah, that just made me want to go back and play 1 and 2 on the PlayStation again. So
fair dues, mate.
Mm.
Cool, nice one. Darren, anything else from you?
Yeah, I have purchased and played Killing Floor 3.
Oh.
If anyone's familiar with Killing Floor 2, it follows the same formula in the fact that a bunch of people are thrown into a map. You basically fight off loads of enemies, sort of COD Zombies style, which grants you credits, which you can then go to a pack-a-punch type of machine and purchase ammo back, increase your armour, refill your armour, grenades, your abilities, purchase new weapons, etc., and then survive the next wave. But this one is set more in the future. You sort of start off on a spaceship, and then you have to do a tutorial, which takes about 10-15 minutes, and then you can enter into the multiplayer online with other people, which is basically just obviously playing the maps with full squads, which are now, I think, 6-player instead of 4. I'm trying to remember. I think the first one was 4-player.
Is it kind of just like Zombies mode from COD?
Sort of, yeah, but with all the weird, messed up sort of Killing Floor style creatures in it. So you got the weird things that scuttle across the floor and sort of spit at you, and then you've got the big giant things with the dual chainsaws and things like that.
Okay.
I've added new enemy types in this one that I don't remember from the previous one anyway. They might have added them in sort of DLCs, but So you fight your way through like a bunch of waves, and then like a big boss will spawn at the end, and then you basically take them out to win the map. But you've also got like mini missions to do as well. So if any of you've played like battle royale games, and you get like given missions, you perform and execute these while you're in the map. So it might require you to go to a certain area and scan bodies or access files on a computer somewhere or something while everything's going on.
Okay. Is it fun though? Is it? I mean, because you don't normally play a lot of multiplayer,
It kind of is. It is fun, but I will say I don't know whether the fact that it's because it's 6-player, it doesn't seem as smooth as the original. I think because there's obviously a lot going on and there's 6 people in the map rather than 4. So it didn't feel particularly fantastic and fluid, we'll say. I did have some fun and some frustration, because obviously when you start off, you're pretty much low level. You complete games and you increase your rank, and you can earn perk points and then level up your different classes. This is now one of the things that I don't like about this is it's now class based.
Oh, okay. So they didn't have classes before. Okay.
So the original one had classes, but you could choose any character model to run as that class. Because obviously there's like a bunch of characters. Mr. Foster's like the most well-known one. It's the guy with the gas mask and the suit. So now on this one, when you choose a class, you're locked into that character.
Okay. That's a bit meh.
And you can't have people that are a different class than you. So when you go into a game of 6, it's like all the classes.
Oh, so you can't be the same.
Each character.
Right. Yeah.
No.
That's a bit like Space Marine as well, then.
So, yeah, I suppose in a sense, yeah. But with like twice the amount of people charged about, things can get proper hectic at times. Like you don't know where you're getting bloody hit from.
Is it crossplay as well, or?
Yes, it is crossplay.
Okay.
So it's kind of fun. I'm not sort of like blown away by it, nor am I like this is terrible. I'm just like in a happy medium where it's like, am I enjoying it as much as the second one when I first played it? No. But then there's still enough pull there to keep me going back to it, to sort of level up the characters. When you do earn the perks, it's very similar to sort of other things where you'll level up and it'll be like, right, you can choose one of these 2 perks, but only one of them. So try and sort of choose the one you want that's going to be more useful. You can also level up those perks a few more times as well to increase their stat values to make them better.
Okay.
So I just hope the matchmaking's reasonable, because there's obviously going to be certain classes that are sort of more favoured than others. I will say I kind of chose a class that's a bit of an arse, to be honest. In the maps I've been generally doing, I ended up picking like the long range class. So it's like bolt actions and all that kind of type of stuff, or like rifles that don't hold a great majority. And considering the game's like quite up in your face, they're not necessarily the best weapons to have. Is like a 6-shooter and a epoxy like rifle. But I've started leveling it up, and I was just like, well, I might as well continue leveling that one up and get a few more perks and increase their playability, because you can choose which kit to take them out with, like with as far as ammo crates or grenades and stuff. So you can obviously lay down ammo crates for team members, etc.
Yeah, okay.
And things like that. So each class can play a specific role if you want, I guess, but the classes have access to their own class-based weapons. I think that was a similar thing in the previous game, but then I think one of the perks you could get unlock like later on is you can now actually select guns from another class. As well as, because when you get through your rounds, you're given the currency, you buy upgrades for your guns.
Yeah.
At the vending machine or pod or whatever it is. But the upgrades is actually kind of weird. You craft them yourself out of materials you get from defeating monsters. Because I noticed when I was playing, it was just like, oh, you've picked up these materials and stuff. I'm like, what's that for? That's new. Don't remember that. But yeah, you go into something on the ship and you craft the mods and then attach those mods to your weapon. But it obviously makes that weapon that you've attached the mods to more expensive to purchase out of the pod when you unlock it, because it's obviously got bonuses on it.
Right.
Like increased accuracy or slightly better recoil, etc. Better fire rate.
Okay, that sounds interesting.
So it's got potential. Yeah, it's got more potential than the other game, which I don't know whether we'll go around again, but unless you're going to talk about it next.
I probably will do. It is. I'm just looking at Killing Floor 3, but is a budget title, £35 on Steam. Mixed reviews. Ooh.
Yeah, so I think originally when this game was going to come out, because it's what's actually, I don't know whether it'd be playable or not. Maybe it is. I haven't tested it out. I'm sure someone has. But this game went into a beta around February, March time, I think it was. And the beta was so widely panned, like people just did not like it particularly very well.
Yeah.
That they kind of scrapped the game and put it on an indefinite hiatus. But it was literally 2 weeks before the game was due to relaunch.
Yeah.
And that game had physical copies, and I guarantee those physical copies had been printed. Because when I obviously installed the game, it basically updated as big as the game install was. Like it was overwriting the previous version of the game.
Yeah, I'm not surprised.
It was actually on the disc, which would be interesting to see if that is actually there. And you could play the old version of it before they've made whatever changes it is they've done.
Yeah.
Because it just suddenly appeared up on the release schedule of like, oh, in 3 weeks, that's out. Sweet, I might as well pick that up because I was originally going to grab it. And again, it's not a full price game. It was sort of like reasonably priced. And I enjoyed the original. Or should I say the second one? I didn't play the first one. I think that was just on the PC. The second one came out on everything eventually, because it started off on PC, then it was PlayStation for a while, and then I think it came to Xbox a bit later.
Okay.
They're good fun games anyway. They have nice gameplay when they work.
Cool.
So yeah, on to your game.
Well, let me just talk about... I just want to mention a couple of driving games I've been playing before I get into the other new release I played this week. Just very briefly. I'm still playing a lot of F1 25. It's fantastic. Still loving it. It's awesome. The other racing game that I've been playing this has been probably my most played game this week. Test Drive Unlimited Solar Crown.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, so I had a big update this week. The long-awaited casino is now available, which is fantastic. The only annoying thing is they're doing things very slow. Let's just say that. Because in the casino, you remember the casino from Test Drive Unlimited 2. You had slot machines.
Oh, it was epic.
You had different slot machines. You had blackjack.
I spent more time in there than I think in the game driving around. I think
you had poker. So they've got a year 2 roadmap, right? So at the minute the casino's there, but all you can do in the casino is play on one slot machine. That is it.
There's still rows of them, like for multiple ones.
Yeah,
because I used to find it interesting in the fact that I remember when I was sitting there and I was watching my mate playing it, and I was just ended up sitting there like while I was having a cigarette, watching him play the slots.
Yeah, Yeah, so it's quite...
And I was like, hang on a minute, am I actually literally watching your exact roles and everything as they're occurring? Because I actually thought that was quite interesting. I was literally watching him do it and like seeing the results he was getting as well.
Yeah, so it's 40 players in the casino, and it's been very busy.
Big.
Yeah, so that's been quite cool. And I've spent, so I'd say 16 hours this week just on a slot machine because I want to win the car. It's a Mercedes AMG something or other. And quite a few people have won it now in the Facebook group I'm in, but I still have yet to win it. I know, it's really annoying. But they've done, the game shouldn't have launched in the state it's launched in. I still don't think it's really in a super finished state even now. It's kind of getting to the point with this year 2 roadmap of what they're planning on doing as to what I think the game should launch at. So let me just put it on the screen here. So you've got different seasons, and it's ending with season 8, July next year, where you're actually going to be able to buy houses. So that's how long it's taking for them to implement these patches. Yeah.
Well, you had in hotels in this one. Originally, they said they wanted to add the housing thing later on, so they obviously are. But they've just taken a while to get to it. So it's good that they got there.
Yeah, well, it's not there yet. So you'll be able to buy houses next year, July next year.
Oh.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. So they've got these seasons. So the next season that's coming out in October, they're adding the taxi missions. They have actually already added a load of new different races and stuff with this patch and some cars. So you've got the new DeLorean in it, which is actually pretty cool. A Porsche. For those of us that bought the gold edition, we've got access to the full season pass, which other people would have to buy. They seem to have improved the frame rate, I would say, slightly, because it was quite jittery for me before, and now it's kind of sitting at a solid 60. Graphics are okay. They're not amazing, but, the world is very, there's a lot of traffic. You can get in the car, look at everything, look around, roll down the windows and all that sort of stuff that you want to do from a test drive game. I don't have a lot of cars in my garage. I think I've got like 8 or 9 cars because they're like a test drive game. They're very expensive to buy, and you obviously want to upgrade the cars you've got as well anyway to make them better. So you really do need to test drive the cars because there's quite a lot of currency to purchase, and you will use that car quite a lot. So yeah, they've added more races. They've added those different type of races where you need to find your way to the finish line. There's no route, so you need to study the map and make your way there. They've added the missions, the classic missions where you deliver cars and you can't damage them. They've only just got in they've only just been put in with this patch, Darren. So, so I've been doing.
Never mind.
Yeah,
they weren't my favourite thing to do in Test Drive 2.
No, but what they done. So what's quite interesting though is I've gone back and I played some Test Drive Unlimited 2 this week on my Steam Deck, and what's quite interesting about the differences is I forgot about this on Test Drive Unlimited 2. You've got the Gran Turismo style driving licenses to do. And I completely forgot about that. You go to
I don't remember that.
Yeah, you go to like a training centre, and this is how you get your better licenses.
I remember I had to get my off-road licence, and it was a pain in the freaking arse, if I remember correctly. That one was a bit of a bummer.
And I completely forgot about that, so I spent a bit of time doing that, doing some missions. And what's really cool, just to give a shout out, I've talked about this ages ago. There's a modding community. It's called Project Paradise 2 on PC, and what they've done is they've got their own servers running for Test Drive Unlimited 2, and it's quite busy. So I was driving around yesterday, and I saw about 8 people on the map just driving around. We tooted each other and said hello, and then just cruised around for a bit. It gave me some really big...
Just the casino on...
Yes, the casinos...
Nice.
Yeah, so basically the modding community of this Project Paradise 2, they've got all the DLC available, including the casino. It's all online as well, so you can see people walking around the casino. Mate, it's just like playing it again on the 360. Because obviously those servers went offline a long time ago. I think this is the magic the modding community on PC can do. It's so cool. They've got their own Discord, and people are like, right, well, we're all going to go on now and have a little cruise. And I didn't look at any of this until after, because I was just in the game. I was like, oh, there's people there, and I forgot how big Test Drive Unlimited 2 was, because you got Ibiza and Hawaii in Test Drive Unlimited 2. Fucking massive. And the graphics actually still hold up pretty well even today. Bearing in mind I was playing on the small screen of the Steam Deck, but still, it's like, wow, this actually looks pretty awesome still, And the original, and it had police, and you got done for traffic offences and all sorts. I was thinking, there's so much missing in Solar Crown from the original game, because you can't buy
much missing in modern games that we used to have in the Lexo game.
Yeah, because you can't buy houses. In modern gaming in general, that whole community aspect's completely vanished, I would say, in a lot of things. You can make your own clans in Test Drive Unlimited 2. You have a little clubhouse, and then people can put money into it and improve it and stuff. All these cool features which are missing in modern games. And and this is the sort of stuff I was hoping that they would bring back in Solar Crown. And I'm enjoying Solar Crown. I've played about 80 hours of it now, so it's not like I've not been playing it. I think it's shit, but it's still in a state where I couldn't recommend it to people unless you were buying it at a deep discount, because it feels like even now, a year, it's been out for nearly a year, it still feels like a very early access game to me, And I'm hoping that they do spend more time on it and improve it, because when they have all the features in, like the houses and extra stuff in the casino and stuff, it will feel a lot more like an original Test Drive Unlimited, So, yeah. So I just wanted to mention that I've pumped a lot of hours in, cruising and the casino. And the only I'm going to miss a game. I'm going to talk about this my other game on my list next week, because I didn't play it a lot. I didn't give it, so I can't give it a fair shout. But the other game I know you've got, Darren, I've only played for about an hour.
Same.
And I'm not really super impressed with it. At the minute, it's Wuchang Fallen Feathers. And this was a game that I was really looking forward to.
I mean, it's got beautiful visuals and a really nice aesthetic going on with what it's doing.
Yeah.
I think the mood and the feel and everything is really good. It just kind of falls apart a little bit on the combat side. It's only generally because this is a Chinese-based game, and I know it's all about that sword dancing stuff. But I just find it just hit the fucking person. Stop pissing about and hit the person. If you actually did that, then I wouldn't get hit myself, because you're dancing around like an idiot.
Yeah.
Do proper hit combos and not all this weird dance twisting sort of type of stuff. I might have to change my weapons about, because you have got 4 or 5 different weapon types, haven't you can use.
Oh, I've only been using that big sword. I've only played.
See, the big sword had a weird hitbox, I thought, on it. It didn't seem as long as what it was. It's also got a really strange, kind of annoying mechanic where when you rest at shrines and stuff, you basically build up this sort of hate or malice gauge that slowly takes over your character, and then it summons a red spirit kind of type enemy of your character, like a doppelganger, into your world and to attack you, which does a lot of damage. And you obviously, because you're in like that weird ragey sort of state, you take way more damage, but you deal way more damage. It's kind of like a double-edged sword. And this game also doesn't have a parry.
Oh, and it doesn't have a block button.
No, I think there is one of the weapons that I think you can block with, but I think it's an ability you have to use.
Yeah, because I was thinking, oh, fuck's sake, another Dark Souls type game that I have to dodge.
Yeah, it's sword fighting. Like, it's about parrying the enemy attacks and stuff. Like, that's generally what sword fighting is. Like, you're not necessarily always going in for the one shot. And to not have a backup when the dodge seems really dodgy, is frustrating. I mean, as much as I liked Wukong, that was my main issue with Wukong. There wasn't a parry. It was all just dodge focused.
Well, and this is the thing that I found, because obviously I rinsed through Black Myth Wukong, and this just feels like the Temu version. You know?
I prefer parts of this to Black Myth. It runs better.
Well, okay. So obviously you're playing on PlayStation, and it runs well on the PlayStation, right? PC, which is the only version I've played, it runs like shit. And this is a huge complaint. If you go onto Steam, it's mostly negative on the reviews, and that's because it's all because of the performance. It's because it's Unreal Engine 5. And it seems to be there seems to be this thing with Unreal Engine 5 games on PC. They just all run like arse.
They're not great to be optimised. Yeah, this is the thing that I always find annoying. We all thought that Unreal Engine 5, it's really easy to use. People can get down with this quite simply. It's almost like an overlay type thing. Like you should be able to push games and get them to look better, but still keep everything under the hood running nice and smooth. That's not actually the case, is it, with a lot of these games? Because you get stuff like, you'll say that, whereas you get Death Stranding 2 on the PS5, I think, even on the base system, it runs at basically like a solid 60 FPS at like increased resolution and stuff.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
and then you get like an Unreal Engine 5 game that's like, I can't.
Yeah, you get like Mind's Eye as another example.
I mean, we've complained about it as well with other things like we'll say, Capcom relying on the Resident Evil engine for Monster Hunter. Doesn't do particularly well. I mean, we've heard this all the way back from things like the people that were forced to use the DICE engine for games that weren't Battlefield, and they struggled. There's just certain engines that are really good for certain types of game. I think, obviously, the Decima engine is probably the best open-world sort of type of engine for the open-world sort of type of looking games, I think.
It's beautiful.
Like your Horizons and like Death Strandings.
Yeah.
Like, they look fantastic. So yeah, hopefully they end up sort of sorting it out, but it doesn't seem like it's happening soon. And obviously I know a lot of Chinese devs are using Unreal 5. And that can obviously be a bit annoying because you're more likely to have a game of issues. But then I think I've heard also people saying a lot more games are actually kind of relying on things like frame gen now. I've seen that complaint popping up on Twitter quite a bit, and that's kind of technically it makes your game look like it's running at a better frames, but it's not actually running at those frames.
Yeah.
So it can cause like slight issues with you trying to read or perform certain attacks in games that are very sort of like you need to be absolutely on the ball.
Yeah,
because there was like one bloke in Wuchang, I think, quite early on. You go up to him and you're like, "Who's this?" And he comes off. You hit him a few times, and it's like hardly any health's come off him. And then straight away, it's like, boom, one hit. Oh, there's half my health.
Yeah.
In one hit, fantastic.
Yeah, as I say, like for me, it was just running like really choppy, and it was just really jarring on my eyes. And no matter what settings I changed, it wouldn't fucking.
Did you lock it?
No, because I never do on my PC games.
There's an option. That's what it says. I noticed when I played it. It said when you choose like performance or whatever, use a 120Hz TV with like a variable refresh and lock in the frames rather than letting it flap about.
I might
It's just
try
it
that
makes the
again
game
when I'm
perform
playing it.
better.
If I try it again, lock it to 60, then see how it runs then.
I will say it seems quite difficult so far, mainly just from the fact that my attacks kind of seem a bit cacky.
Well, you don't seem to do a lot of damage. No.
Well, not necessarily like a lot of damage, because you level up slightly differently. You
have to use this essence stuff, don't you?
You go to like a shrine, and then you have to convert the essence to like an ability point that you can then slot into a skill tree.
Mm-hmm.
And it's the skills on the skill tree that increase your attack, defense,
that's right,
and other things like that. But I only realised when I sort of looked over and I was like, oh, I can see their arrows telling me what's getting increased.
Yeah.
With this level up, but I'm not sure if they're relevant to each ability, because there's one skill tree for each weapon, and they all go off. So I don't know if switching to another weapon will mean I lose the skills that were on the other skill tree, even though they kind of look like they're passives.
Yeah.
As in they're not like a weapon attack, they're like increased to health or vitality or dexterity kind of thing.
But I think even if it was running smooth, I just don't know what I think about it, because it's just, there's so many of these Dark Souls type clone games now, and I'll say like Black Myth Wukong was good, but as I say, it just feels very similar, and I'm just like, I don't know if I can be fucked to play another game like that again, and just the whole performance thing really put me off as well, and I was just like, that's why I only really played it for about an hour and turned it off. So
understandable.
Yeah.
I'm hoping it gets better, but there's a few niggles with it, I think, that need all ironing out.
Yeah.
There's no quick game either.
There is. You got to press start, and then you got to go into a couple of menus, and it quits the desktop on PC. So I'm guessing that might be.
I couldn't find it on thingy, because usually on a lot of the games, like the From games, you go to settings.
It's not on the
and then
very
it's down
far.
The end.
Yeah, it's on the far. So it's not the far right one. It's the one next to it. So it's the next one in, and then you'll see it at the bottom.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I just end up to the dashboard, innit? It's just like, I'll just do that then.
Yeah.
Because it auto saves when you see the little picture of the creature dance or whatever it is in the corner.
Yeah. So
every now and again.
But yeah, that's just my initial impression.
Oh, did you get absolutely destroyed by the tutorial thing that disappeared?
Yep.
That actually pissed me off. I was like, was that a limited thing, was it? Because I never picked up the item that was in front of him. I thought, I'll do the good thing and I'll talk to him first. And the next thing, you're in a dream.
Yeah.
And as soon as I went in there, I must admit, it was the classic, like, straight away you're like,
yeah, I'm
don't take the flask. Like, you just push the wrong button to attack.
Oh,
and you take a flask, and instantly you're a flask down.
Yep.
But yeah, I'm pretty sure I was doing reasonably okay against that stupid boss thing that sort of spawned after the peons did.
Yeah.
And then it was like, I just remember, like, I've got quite a bit of health here, and then it was just like, I'm down, am I? What the fuck?
Yeah,
and then he disappeared, and that was all gone, and I was like, what the hell was that? Cheers, game. Thanks for that.
Yeah. Yeah. But no, I'll try and give it another bash this week, but it just seems to be the thing of, if a game launches on Game Pass like that, you're going to be quite lucky if it's going to be a banger, to be honest.
Well, you got Liza P.
Well, yeah, and we got Claire Obscure as well. So, but I don't know. I think it's partly my mood when I started playing it, and their performance kind of really just put me off. So I'll say, like, I need a reset in my mind and give it another bosh, to be honest.
Probably for the best, yes. Yeah.
So you've only played it probably about the same amount of time as me then, and
it was about an hour, yeah.
Yeah.
So, like, listened to the lore, spoke to obviously the NPC, slowly taking you through it. I was appreciating all of the different, like, the background stuff.
Yeah.
The tapestries on the walls and stuff of all the different sort of things from that kind of era. because this is set within the Kingdom of Shu, which is one of the sort of provinces from the land of the Three Kingdoms, or the Three Kingdoms era of China.
Right, yeah.
Where you had Wu, Shu, and Wei.
It's gone right over my head, mate.
Yeah.
Cool. If there's nothing, has anyone else played anything else? If not, there's quite a bit of news. I want to rattle.
There is. I haven't actually played it because I was sort of like holding off, but I will have a little tinkle with it this week. But they did a update for First Descendant, which has got a demo of the new season in it. A bit strange.
Okay.
They might as well call it like a PTS rather than an actual demo, which is like public test server.
Yeah.
Test out content before it launches. Which, to be honest, with that game, they should have done that from the start, and then maybe they wouldn't have like literally come out and like blown their testicles off in front of everyone with Season 1, which was like one of the worst things I've ever come across in gaming. Like, I was furious with that. It was just like the shittiest content you could imagine that was added to the game, in single player as well, I might add, to a multiplayer game. But yeah, this lets you use, I think, 3 different descendants. You obviously can't use any of your own because they're on your main account, and experience like some of the open world and story stuff. So I'll try it and test it out, because if by testing it out you get some in-game goodies, as you usually do with these fucking things.
Nice.
But yeah, I'm sure some people have tried it already and probably like meh with it.
Probably. You never know. All right, let's get into some news then. Directive 8020, a game that I've been looking forward to, has been delayed until next year. But this was announced literally a day after Supermassive Games announced that they were laying off 36 members of staff, all based in the UK as well, which is a little bit of a shame.
They're almost like, in theory, sort of like Telltale in a way. They remind me a little bit of Telltale. Supermassive. They make those type of games, if you know what I mean.
Well, yeah, they make the Dark Pictures games, don't they? I fucking love those games. Yeah. So
obviously started off with Until Dawn, and
that's it. Yeah.
Did like spin-offs and things like that. They are good at what they do. Yeah.
So that's a little bit of a shame that those staff, it's because especially since it's a UK-based studio and there's not many left, that they're laying off staff. So and the game's been delayed, which is a shame. So it was meant to come out the 2nd of October. So.
Which would have been a good time for it, to be honest. You kind of want to hit in during that Halloween.
Yeah.
I will say, I did see a trailer yesterday for a game that actually does look pretty damn good. And I think the game's already out.
Okay.
But they're doing an upgrade. There we go. Alien Rogue Incursion Evolved Edition.
Okay. Well, we've definitely talked about this before.
It's kind of getting a what looks like a soft sort of upgrade reboot.
That's the first person.
And it looked pretty damn good, the trailer that I watched for it. Quite short and sweet. There was also a nice 10 minutes of, is it Kronos gameplay released this week?
Okay. I might have
Is it Kronos, the Bloober team game that's kind of like
Kronos the New Dawn?
Yeah.
Bloober, yeah, I just found it on YouTube. Yes.
That looks great. They're the kind of games I do like. As soon as I was like watching them play through it, it just reminded me how much I do like those type of games. Which again was another reason why I was sort of, which is why I was kind of drawn towards playing Control because I always knew it was going to have some sort of weird supernatural aspect to it, and depending on how well it was executed.
Nice. Big shout out to Colin Blake. Hello. Hope you're doing well.
Hello. It's just a shame we won't get another Evil Within, because I think another one of those would be bloody-tastic now.
The team's gone now, isn't it, I think?
Yes, well, they were rescued, weren't they?
By Microsoft, but I don't... You know what Microsoft's like, they're probably...
Yeah, they Tango Gameworks, I think they were all let go. And I think it wasn't long after they folded, or it was just before someone else stepped in and kind of acquired most of the dev team.
Ah, okay.
Probably get them to work on some fucking mobile game.
Probably.
There you go, boys. That's what the people want.
Right, time is ticking, so let me crack on with these bits of news. Just going back to Test Drive Unlimited, the people there, the dev team, have said that obviously there's a lot of focus on Steam concurrent numbers. This is actually the first team I think I've seen come out about this, but they've actually said that the PS5 version is by far their biggest community. So take the Steam charts with a pinch of salt.
Yeah, I've always thought of that when people are like, oh, there's like 1 million people playing it on Steam or something, and then you're just like, but the game sold like 6 million copies on launch.
Yeah, but the thing is, right?
It's not like with certain games, obviously, depending.
The thing is that there's more users of Steam than of both consoles put together. But the thing is, what people seem to forget is if a game is launched on PlayStation, Xbox, and PC, usually the PlayStation version of that game sells the most. So, yeah.
There's a lot of people who play Steam that don't necessarily play the big games. They like playing all the little indie stuff that's on there, or like the fun party games they can play with other people.
Yeah. So I just wanted to give that a brief mention. Something that's quite interesting in the PC market, China are quite, they try to disrupt the market. They have brought out their own graphics card called the Chinese firm Morthreads MTT. It's called the MTT S90. It outperforms an RTX 4060. No prices or anything like that, but that's be interesting if Chinese companies start releasing graphics cards to Western markets, because they will undercut them massively.
They don't even necessarily have to release them to the Western markets, because obviously, like we said this before, the reason that loads of censorship used to happen was to appease China, because China's got a massive amount of people that live there.
Yeah.
So it's a huge market. Like, the Chinese film industry is massive.
Yeah.
Even if they just sold those graphics cards in their own country, they'd do exceedingly well.
Yeah.
Rather than having to import the sort of like US-made cards.
Yeah. Cool. Right, next bit of news. Where was I? Ubisoft CEO has come out, and he's blaming organised campaigns of criticism against its games as to why they're selling like shite. So instead of blaming themselves for bringing out turds of games, they're blaming online campaigns, apparently, for convincing people to not buy them.
You can't really convince people to not buy stuff.
Yeah.
Like, in general, if you like the look of something, you're more than likely going to buy it regardless.
Yeah.
I mean, even when we tried putting people off buying certain games, they still ended up getting them. Like Alien, whatever the hell that was, that came out on the Xbox 360 that we all completed in a night.
Mm-hmm.
There was a few people that were like, oh, I was thinking of getting that, and everyone was like in the party, like, don't get it as shit. And then in the next day, he was like, oh, I've bought that Aliens game.
Yeah.
I thought it looked all right.
Oh, well, and that's it. And this just shows the arrogance of the company itself. They're trying to blame everyone else but themselves for the state of their games. Which is...
If the chef in the kitchen isn't cooking the meals the customers want, they're not necessarily going to buy them, are they?
Yeah. Yeah. So I just wanted to mention that. But they've also said, just on another bit of news from Ubisoft, Ubisoft has come out in defense of microtransactions, claiming they make games more fun. So what the fuck, man? Are they just so out of touch or what? It's fucking mad.
They add to longevity of games, yes.
They can do, but... Yeah, monetization within our games makes the experience more fun by allowing them to personalize their avatars or to progress more quickly. Jesus.
And sometimes we will say that the success of DLCs usually might form future content further down the line.
Yeah. Just on another note, Final Fantasy, they did a collaboration with Magic the Gathering.
Mm-hmm.
This collaboration made them over $200 million in the first 24 hours of them launching the cards. How crazy is that? People
did go a bit silly for those, I noticed.
Well, yeah, I bought 2 starter packs myself, and I've purchased the season pass on the online version of Magic the Gathering to play just for the Final Fantasy things. So, yeah, I'm part of the problem. But yeah, these collabs make a lot of money. And my last bit of news, Project Cars 3 will be delisted in August. So you will no longer be able to buy it from August. And the online servers are going to go offline February the 24th, 2026. Saddy face. If anyone is even still playing it.
There must still be people playing it, otherwise I wouldn't necessarily have to put it out.
Yeah. So,
what's it?
Yeah. That's all my news.
There was another website that got mullered, wasn't there?
What do you mean?
We talked briefly last week, didn't we, about Steam basically delisting a bunch of games under pressure from, like, credit card companies. And yeah, it happened to another indie website, and they literally delisted and took down a load of games which people actually owned and had in their libraries and can't access anymore.
Okay. Shit, innit?
More fun censorship.
Yeah, more censorship. Meh.
So yeah, we basically talked about that last week anyway, didn't we?
Yeah.
And yeah, it could get worse. It all just depends on what people deem acceptable. This same company that's done this wanted to sort of get rid of games like GTA and Detroit Become Human as well.
Ugh, oh, that's fucking stupid, isn't it?
In the past.
Yeah. Redonkulous.
There was also a trailer actually randomly released last week for Hellraiser.
What?
They're doing a Hellraiser game, Hellraiser Revival. It's being made by Saber Interactive.
Okay.
The group obviously worked on like Space Marine 2. Whether this is like a different department of that studio, I don't know. but it actually looks pretty gory, violent, and everything that sort of like the Hellraiser fan base, I imagine, would like.
Okay.
So yeah, lots of people being torn in half by chains and stuff.
Ugh. Sounds a bit disgusting. Yeah. Cool. I think, guys, we're at the end of the episode. I think Nick's been quiet for a while. I think he's struggling to stay awake over there.
Who said that?
All right.
Yeah. 2 hours and 40 minutes. I think that's plenty. I've been streaming for 3 hours and 1 minute. I'm hot. I'm bothered. The aircon's off at the minute. Yeah, but thank you very much, everyone. It's been awesome. I will try Wuchang Fallen Feathers again, as you say. And I've enjoyed discussing the 360 stuff. It's been good fun. So anyway, from all this...
Also,
go on, Darren, quickly. Yeah.
I noticed loads of things that, that game came out, FBC Firebreak. We mentioned it like about a month ago or 3 weeks ago or whatever it was. I think that launched on Game Pass as well, didn't it?
Oh, the big pile of turd.
Or something. Yeah, that's tied into the Remedy universe as well, isn't it? Because one of the areas you go into in Control is tied into one of the levels from that game with all of the post-it notes everywhere. And obviously the FBC Firebreak areas is actually parts of the locations that you go through in the game.
Cool.
So yeah, sorry, just random thing.
That's good. Okay, anyway, it is time to end. Thank you very much for coming on, guys. It's been awesome. So from all of us here, it's been emotional. We will see you all next week.